There I am. A pleasant good morning to you from Tony'sPicks.com, and welcome to Night Moves here for Sunday, December 28th. Thank you for joining me on this special day. Appreciate everyone here ready to go for a look at the NFL card here on Sunday. We've got other sports to look at as well, including uh, uh, NBA basketball and college NHL hockey. I'll spit it out here. College basketball is back here. There was one game last night, but we got a bigger slate here on Sunday. So thank you for joining me here on the show on Night Moves, and had a fun day on Saturday with the NFL action and the bowl games for sure. The 8 bowl games. Wow. Hey, we had some winners in the bowls here on Saturday on Night Moves, didn't we? For sure, with some of our picks there yesterday, including we had the under there in the game between Pittsburgh and East Carolina. We scored there in that ball game. We also had the winner here on Night Moves with Penn State getting the money there against Clemson. And I had a premium pick winner in the under in the Penn State Clemson game here at Tony's Picks. Also, we had the winner here on BYU with my premium pick winner over Georgia Tech in a good ball game there at 25-21. We also had the winner Miami of Ohio and Fresno game to go under yesterday here on Night Moves. We also had Virginia over Missouri as the winner here on Night Moves, and we wrapped it up with Houston getting the win there. So pretty good performance here on Night Moves yesterday with some of the games there. Gonna lament here a little bit with my Chargers. Yeah, maybe they didn't get the break there they needed, but the problem was giving up the 2 big bombs there early on in the game as the Texans clinched the playoff spot. They're in the playoffs 3rd year in a row. Let me guess, the Texans are going to play the first game, the early game on Saturday when they make the playoffs. I think they'll probably will, right? It's not they just assign them that game. Well, they do, but it's just kind of like where the situation lands, and they always end up playing that same game every time. So Texans in the postseason, they've won their last 8 games right now, going 6-2 against the spread, 3rd year in a row, as I said, for the playoffs. Texans had 2 quick bombs of 75 and 43 yards. They outgained the Chargers by nearly 100 yards and got the win over my Chargers. Chargers had 4 punts on their first 4 drives. They eventually got it going again, but couldn't get it done in the end. And their kicker had a bad day. His 4 points were the difference that he missed in the game. Houston led 14-3 at halftime. And Chargers are in the playoffs, and they'll have a road playoff game in 2 weeks. And guess where they could end up. It could be the same matchup. We'll see here. Denver clinches the AFC West with that win. So good on the Broncos. Hey, the other game, the Ravens racked the pack 41-24 behind Derrick Henry. Now, I couldn't handicap this game because John Harbaugh's a dummy. Basically, here, no, he got it right in this game to use Henry, but I didn't think they would use Henry. I figured the Ravens thought, hey, we didn't use him for the last 12 and a half minutes of the last game when we should have been using him. Why would we even run him in this game that maybe we're not even interested in winning? I thought the Ravens were having a nervous breakdown here. It looks like they want the postseason. It's still going to be difficult here, but just goes to show how foolish I was in buying into the fact that the Ravens, I don't want to say that they are toast. I mean, there's still 21% chance. Got to see what the Steelers do in their game tomorrow. But I just thought they'd, gone basically haywire, and that Baltimore didn't know what they were doing, and that Harbaugh was probably going to be leaving this situation. It was Tyler Huntley who might have made some money for himself. Could he move on and actually be a starter in this league? I don't know if that's the case. I think the situation kind of dictated the success for both backup quarterbacks there. We even saw Willis get re-injured there at the end, but Henry, 216 yards, 4 touchdowns, the seventh big 200-yard game there for Henry, and the Ravens kept their playoff hopes alive. Baltimore needs the Steelers to lose in Cleveland on Sunday. It's not out of the question, and I'll be telling you why when we talk about it here with the previews. But the Ravens, when they are a road dog, 16-5-1. So shame on me there, because the Packers actually, they probably were resigned to the position that they were in here, and that will be to take on the Bears on the road in the playoffs. So those guys will probably meet for the third time this season. Baltimore led 27-14 at halftime. It really wasn't even that close. Green Bay lost its last 3 games. So, the injuries really have taken their toll on the Packers. They're probably still a pretty good team, but just injury after injury with this team has really kind of taken them out of it. The Packers averaged 10 yards per pass attempt. That's pretty good. And the Bears won the NFC North because of that final there. So if you're in the number 1 seed, usually you're going to make it to the Super Bowl. Only once in the last 6 years has a number one seed not made it to the Super Bowl. Number 1s and number 2 seeds there, basically. Last year, we had number 1 in the AFC, number 2 in the NFC. In 23, number 1 in the NFC, and 22 was the 2 number 1 seeds met. So number 1 seed does do you well, and right now you will see. But the Seahawks are in that number 1 seed, but here come the Bears, here come the Niners, and the Broncos, looking pretty snug there for number 1. Obviously, the Patriots with a shot as well. So, hey, thanks for joining me here on the show. Should have a pretty good show here right now, and we'll go over the action here. But let's see who's joining me in the chat here with our previews ready to go. Thank you, Sonny Schlotfeld there. Oh, he's got a question. What do you make of the game when the spread is 5.5, but the team totals are a 7-point difference? Wow, that is a very interesting question, Sonny. I might have to think about that. Maybe I can kind of conceptualize that as we go along the show. I don't want to take too much time out, but what an interesting question that is. And the ridiculous, my San Diego State Aztecs, got that back door there last night. They were going for it, and Mean Green weren't going to stop them there in that one. There were 1,150 yards in that game. Mestamaker went 27 of 47 with 3 touchdowns in that one. But San Diego State got the money there yesterday. I said go under. That was crazy. There was basically 196 points scored in that game. Southpaws here. He might fall asleep before the show's over. He said the Avs Golden Knights game last night was pretty terrific. It did have a playoff feel to it. There, the other football game was ending, and then I really got into that game because of the Golden Knights here, and it. I want to say it felt like a playoff game, felt like a playoff atmosphere. The play doesn't necessarily represent it, but plays a little bit different this year in the NHL. It's kind of interesting, actually, the way things are going. And I think I was watching a playoff style game. It felt like last night. Hey, we had some big time winners on night moves last night in the NHL. Maybe you're here for the hockey picks tonight. We scored with a lot of winners here. Rangers, Islanders under. We had the Wild in the show last night. We had the Lightning. We had the Sabres to start off real hot there. We also had Senators, Maple Leafs game to go over. We did cool down a little bit there towards the end for sure, but had winners also with Calgary last night and San Jose out on the West Coast. So pretty interesting day there in the NHL. Also brought home some winners here on the show in the NBA, including the Nuggets and the Magic game to go over. We also had the Bucks on the road against the Bulls last night. We also had the under with the Jazz and the Spurs. We had the Rockets over the Cavaliers. Couldn't really get it done too much there. And let's see, Southpaw talking about Colorado and that incredible record. 36 games, 2 regulation losses. Jerry's here. He said that, let's see, told everyone that bum Malik was going to beat Baltimore. I think that's what he's saying there. He moves his keyboard stuck. Hey, Timmy Two Shoe is here as well. Sports fan as well. Timmy saying, is possibly the special day here? Could it be another trip around the sun for the old man here on the show? Thank you, Timmy. Appreciate it. And let's see here. There's sports fan in there, and I said, let's see, he had Henry's rushing yards. Good call. I mean, I had Henry's rushing. This is how off I was on that game. I had Henry's carries under. He had that. He practically had that on the first drive. Again, John Harbaugh. When it's too late, not that it's too late, but look, the Ravens right now, they should have won that other game. There have been other misuses of Henry this year, and they're not in the playoff hunt. I mean, they're in the playoff hunt, but they're not going to make it, I don't think. They do have a chance, especially if Pittsburgh loses. But, maybe Harbaugh should be fired. But again, I was so far off on that game. I thought the Ravens didn't know what they were doing. And I guess turns out it kind of did. But still, it feels weird because of the previous game where they weren't running Henry in the key moments, and other games as well this year where I don't believe they were using Henry properly. There, Cal Dog, hello, nice to have you here. And Josh Jacobs, right? Here's another one, Timmy, right? All week, we're wondering about Josh Jacobs' status. We have the all clear. Everyone says, Josh Jacobs, yeah, beat up. He's ready to go. What did he have, 4 carries? That's just wrong. It's wrong what the Packers did, not only to Josh Jacobs, but to their own chances in that game. They mailed it in. They mailed in the game, basically, against the Ravens there last night. Ron Jeff, hello, as well. And whole chat was on Houston except for Ramon. I was on the Chargers there yesterday, and I think they blew it. And let's see what else. Southpaw says, look, he says that there's something wrong. He says he feels like there's something wrong with the kicker of the Chargers there. Maybe he was injured or something. Mr. Miho, thank you for your birthday wishes here. I wish it was slow the revolutions down a little bit. And GG Money, thank you as well for your wishes here. And Ravens have some bad owners. Boy, do they ever. I mean, ever since Art Modell packed up that Mayflower van, right, Charles? Appreciate you. Thanks a lot. Oh, sports fans talking. Oh, everybody's on Houston. Yeah, I was on Houston there as well. Sports fan, you know that yesterday with that one. And again, hey, LSU made it good. I mean, LSU made it a good game because they came out there with those two quick touchdowns that did help them, and then they stayed in the game because Houston wasn't that great defensively. But it was Houston getting that win there yesterday over LSU in a real good game to wrap up the action there last night. But the way I just chalked it up was that I thought Houston, uh, you know, LSU, they're waiting for their man to come in. I mean, they're playing for the future there. And Houston was at home in this one. They maybe just had just the right uh, things they needed to get that win over LSU last night. So went 2-1 with my college picks over at Tony's Picks. And thank you to Zach Rossi as well for your birthday salutation here. Man, I'm getting old, but maybe I need, if I just put on the, the software that they use, you can do a little special thing with the camera. You could actually, let me see here. I can do it here right now. Let me see. I'm going to try to put two little clicks on. I can make myself look a little bit younger here. I think 1, 2. Did anybody? Is it noticeable? Did I do it? Does anybody think I just look younger there with those two little clicks? Looks like the same old me. That's not good. And Southpaw says Vegas is ruining sports. I think it's making it only better. All the markets and all the apps and everything. I think we need more sports betting. Southpaw, you're on the wrong show, my friend. All right. Good to see you, though. Thank you. Hopefully, we'll pick up some winners here on the betting world here in Las Vegas. All right. And maybe we should just get to it right now and preview the games because there's quite a few of them. We got a great NFL card and those other sports as well that we'll talk about. But it was a good night of college football. I guess the games I didn't mention, the games I didn't mention last night because I didn't have a winner. I guess I didn't mention it, right? But there was Army, man. Just take the Ramon, what are you doing? Just take the big move and everything. And Army's not a great favorite, but you know what? In a bowl game, you're supposed to take the service academy every time. They don't take days off, you know that. So probably should have had the winner there. And also, we didn't have the winner there in the North Texas game there with San Diego State, but I guess we did touch on that. So, okay, let's get to the festivities here with an NFL card and, pieces and puzzles. And this is what handicapping is all about, right? When you got some teams in, some teams out, some teams tanking, every team tanking on our card today. So get your pens, pencils, and rotation orders ready. It's time to look at the games here. A few more comments, though. Let's see. Timmy says, Timmy going way off the board in there. And also remember World Juniors going on as well. And there it is. He's talking about, Sonny said, that's where it is, the Jaguars and the Colts game. Well, maybe we'll play the graphic there from Sonny when we get to that game. But we got to start with the early action. We're going in rotation order here, so you might have seen some of the games were held over as potential Saturday games, and they end up here at the top of the rotation in their respective time slots, if you will. So let's go to it and speak of the Arizona Cardinals here taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. Well, this is not a great game, obviously, but hey, you got the Cards on the road. They're an underdog to the Bengals here. No, these guys aren't going anywhere, but hey, it's NFL Sunday. Arizona comes in on a losing streak for sure here right now, not playing very well down the stretch. The Bengals actually came in off of a win after we saw Joe Burrow playing Woe's Me, and then he ended up blasting Miami on the road 45-21 last week. But the Cardinals continue to struggle here right now. But the Cardinals are 5-2 against the spread on the road. The Bengals just 3-4 against the spread at home, and the Bengals have struggled a bit as well against the spread here of late, covering just 2 of their last 10 games overall coming into this one. And for Arizona here, they'll have, of course, Jacoby Brissett in there at quarterback here one more time for good sake, and Joe Burrow one more chance. I hope he don't get hurt, Joey B, out there. You got to wonder what these teams are thinking sometimes, but Joey wants to play. He's competitive, and the Bengals, hey, they're never going to the playoffs, so you might as well play them now because you're not going to play them in any big games in the future, or this year or next or the next. I mean, there's just no hope for this Bengals franchise right now, and same kind of with Arizona. You'd think anytime you got speaking of bad ownership, right? This is a battle of the bad ownerships right here between these two. Bengals favored by 7, total 53 here in this one. The Cardinals have lost 7 in a row, 12 of their last 13 games overall. Like I said, the only thing they do well here really is the road underdog role. So maybe this is a spot. They're 15-9 against the spread. Their last 24 against AFC teams in non-conference clashes. They're also 24-20 against the spread. Last 44 coming off a loss. That's usually what they're doing. They're usually coming in off of a loss. Bengals basically been losing here 10 of their last 14, or 5-10 straight up overall. 4-6 as a home favorite dating back to last year against the number. The Bengals 11-6-2, however, the last 19 in interconference games between the two. They don't meet very often right now, of course, but interestingly, the two teams did meet in back-to-back seasons here. Let's see, they played last in Arizona back 2 years ago. It was 34-20. The Bengals got the win in Arizona. So let's see what you have here in this one. I don't know if I'm going to dive too deep here, but I don't expect much defense, and neither do the odds makers. I know it's starting to look a little bit goofy here with some of these totals here today, but man, you've got to think that maybe that's where we're headed with this one with Arizona and Cincinnati. You're not going to stop Joey B in garbage time here right now, are you? Arizona is 1-6 against the spread in their last 7. They've gone over in 8 of their last 11 games. Cincinnati has gone under in 4 of their last 6, but now we're really into garbage time right now, and the Bengals are 3-1 to the over as a favorite, 5-2 to the over at home as well. So I think it's starting to pick up there. I got to go over in this one as my pick here on Night Moves. I think it's going to be a bit of a shootout. Look, even Brissett can trade some points here with the Bengals. I'm sure they're 7-5 to the over as an underdog this season. So I think we're going to be lighting it up on Sunday here in Cincinnati. Let me hear from you in the chat and get your selections if you'd like here, and I'll show your picks on the screen. Trey McBride, that probably could have a big game here, although on the road, maybe dial it back a little bit, but still, what a season for McBride. Man, if he could have had some big time numbers. JSN, and it's a touchdown parlay for Timmy Two Shoes, what it was. Zach says the Bengals can roll here. They probably should, but just remember, this is a garbage game, no doubt about it. Since he wins, Cards cover. I got a feeling, though, the Cards in 7 points right now. How about Yoshibas for a touchdown, says Timmy Two Shoes there. And how about that great call here for Sports Fan, ramping up the passing yardage there. What a cool idea that is, Sports Fan. That's using your noggin. Greg says he's got the Bengals, I think, and he's leading Bengals and over here. All right, we don't need to spend too much time on that one. You got to wonder, they got to get rid of Gannon, right? The Cardinals got to start over for sure. Gannon, 15-34 in his career as a head coach, so probably not much of a future there for him. But for Zach Taylor, you're probably going to still hang here a little bit with Zach Taylor in the future right now. So Okay, good call, you guys. Great. Let's move on. Got another one here uh, in the rotation order scheduled for Saturday, potential Saturday game now moved to Sunday with the Seahawks taking on the Panthers here. Look, the Panthers, I mean, you got to expect right now that, you know, odds are they're in, right? But they lose this one, that still keeps the door wide open for the Bucks, who also play. So with 2 games to go, yeah, the Panthers have the 1 game lead over the Bucks, and then it'll come down to next week's game. But you know, the Seahawks, they're battling for the number 1 seed. That's important. The Panthers have had a very, very good season. I mean, this has been really nice this year. Look, they probably aren't going to win a game here in the playoffs if they do make it, but hey, they're one thing they're going to be is a division champion if they do make it. And the Seahawks, while they've had a great season, and yes, they are the number 1 seed right now, and they're trying to hold it. They need to win this one. Carolina's a playoff team, and if you're going to the playoffs, that means you're pretty good. Now, Seattle is a Super Bowl contender? Yeah, for sure. But I know we all kind of look at them cross-eyed a little bit with Darnold, right? And is he really a Super Bowl quarterback? I mean, he's got the talented receivers and everything. Seattle's failed to cover in each of their last 2 games. They were favored major line move. Remember, against the Rams at home and lost that one. They were favored big time against the Colts at home and barely won. They have beaten up some weak sisters on the road, such as Atlanta, 37-9, but Atlanta's not going anywhere, right? They barely covered against Tennessee as a 12.5 point favorite, could only win by 6. Seattle's a terrific 6-1 against the spread on the road this season, 10-5 ATS overall, 8-4 ATS is a favorite. They've been a good favorite. That's what you want to see, right? But you want to lay a touchdown on the road against a Carolina team that not only is having a great season, can win the division championship here over the next 2 weeks, maybe today, and come in 9-6 ATS, 5-2 against the spread at home, 9-4 against the spread as an underdog here. That's very, disrespectful, I think, here by the bettors and the odds makers. I'm taking Carolina, of course, here, and I'm probably taking them on the money line in this game today with Bryce Young definitely doing a lot better this year. I don't think we're ready to run to the Pro Bowl or anything, but Seattle still won 9 of their last 10, but have won the last 2 games by just a total of 3 points. Seattle's gone over their team total in 10 of 14. Their offense is it's funny because they protect Darnold really well, and I think that's really important. And he does get the yards. They're second in yards per play, second in points this season. So look, they have a good offense. They struggle when they get down in the red zone. They're not necessarily clutch. They struggle with third down conversion as well, but still, they've been a fine team. They won last week. They were trailing, remember, 30-14 in that game against the Rams, and obviously that game was just crazy. We know that, but Seattle also 3-1 against the spread as a road favorite this year, 15-6, last 21 against the spread, coming in off of a win. They've held their opponents to under their team total in 9 of the 15 games. For Carolina, meanwhile, they are clutch in close games. They're 7-2 in games decided by 7 or fewer points. Makes it interesting with the spread the way it is, doesn't it? Canales has done a really good job. He's actually a candidate for Coach of the Year. I don't think he'll win it, but you've got to consider Carolina for that big improvement. They're 5-2 straight up at home this season, 4-2 against the spread as a home underdog. They lead Tampa Bay by 1 game in the South, and they'll play next week. Now, Carolina wins, Tampa Bay loses. They're going to have a 2-game lead with 1 game to play, and that's not out of the question. The Bucks are playing on the road against the Dolphins, and they're a touchdown favorite. We'll get to that one. So realistically, it's supposed to be even up again here after this, but I think the Panthers are in this game. I think they're live. Seattle has dominated the Panthers in this semi-frequent series. They've won 8 of the last 10. Seahawks have won 5 straight times here in Charlotte and have gone 3-1-1 against the spread. However, the teams haven't met here since before the pandemic. So 6 straight meetings between the two teams have gone over. Seattle's gone over in 8 of their 12 games as a favorite. Let's hear from you in the chat. If you'd like to comment on the game and make your pick, I think I've made it clear that I'm taking the Carolina Panthers here. This is, to me, a much closer game than a 7-point spread here in this one. Funny, if this were a playoff game, Seattle would probably be north of 8, actually. Just the way it crumbles down here a little bit. Let me go to the chat, see what you have in this one. With Timmy Chushu says Carolina covers and it goes over here in this one. Greg I think he likes the Panthers here in the over as well. Look at that prediction. Cal Dog says Carolina to cover and an over as well. Panthers as a home dog. I thought I was being cute. I thought I was be like, man, I'm going to go with the Panthers but I think we all kind of see through the Seahawks a little bit. Not that they can't, hey, if they get the number 1 seed, you leave it to the 12s. It's very, very tough because also the other thing about those, now the Rams are a different story because those games are really interesting. And the 49ers as well. I mean, we could be talking, look at this NFC West situation here, right? If you think about it with the 3 teams, in the playoffs. But any of the others, if it's, the Bears, the Eagles, or the Packers, I'm not saying it's tough. But everybody talks about going west to east for the teams, right, traveling. One of the top football experts, handicapping experts, has actually shown some numbers that east to west is actually the worst situation for teams. And obviously when going into play in Seattle, it becomes an issue with their fan base. All right, let's see here. Seahawks are worried about the 49ers next week. They could be looking ahead there, but they don't have the room really to look ahead, right? I mean, the Bears here, don't forget, they have their big game with the 49ers as well, but we'll see what happens there, right? Maybe you are right because of, kind of what I've talked about the 49ers as well. I mean, like I said, we're on them. We're on them at 15-1 to win the Super Bowl from a couple of weeks ago, remember, because look at it now, the 49ers might be able to play these last 2 games, obviously, at home. If they could somehow get there, the number 1 seed, they'd play every game in the playoffs at home, including the Super Bowl. All right, let's see here. Sports Fan's got some defensive props for us. Thanks a lot. That's great, Sports Fan. I love betting the defensive props. I never do them on any of those shows because who wants to count them up? And you're trying to be interesting, but I love defensive props at halftime. I have what I think is a secret formula, but that doesn't always work out. All right, Seattle defense is the X factor in this one. Let's not count him out, right? But he's still calling for a Carolina cover. And Jimmy's eyes said, right, Timmy. Now, maybe you're taken out of context, Timmy. I said you should know which team has the game rigged, right? We got to know which team is rigged up to cover. Seahawks right there for Andre. He likes it right on the spread there. And Greg says if Seattle was home, what would they be favored by in this game? Oh, yeah, for sure. Probably 9.5, I would think, Greg, this week anyway. And Ron Jeff is here. He says the Panthers cover. I've got the Panthers to cover as well. And I'm going to sprinkle the money line with the Panthers here on Sunday. My note sheet says Saturday because I've got the 3 games. I had to do a little tape job with my schedule because of the way, how they have the Saturday games listed. I don't know if you guys, you use the rotation sheets like I do. Maybe you do because, everyone goes to the sports book now, pick up those sheets every week, don't they? All right. You can get them online too. If you don't know how to get them online, let me know. I'll let you know how it's done. Okay, that's it for that one. Let's continue on right now in the Vegas rotation order and go to another interesting one here with the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. Now, hey, could this be the Super Bowl here for Cleveland? They've lost four in a row. Yeah, they haven't looked great at all here of late, and they're still doing their Sanders thing, which is fine. I mean, look, it's fun to watch him. I mean, there are moments where, you know, I think there was obviously some sort of bias in there. Maybe it was something with the Dion factor. I don't think Shador Sanders was worthy of a fifth round draft choice. Do you think, guys? It looks like to me, especially at the quarterback position, he probably could have been drafted a little bit higher. Now, I know some teams don't have that priority and he kept slipping or whatever. Um, I would almost say that if you had Sanders on a better team, he'd have a better chance of looking pretty good. And he's looked pretty good at moments. He looks better than some of these other guys at moments too because of the mobility, the arm strength, really throwing on the run. He has one of the, to me, looks like one of the strongest arms in the game on the run. Actually, yeah, maybe the accuracy is not quite there. Sometimes it is there, especially with some of the connections he's made with some of his backs. Now, the big injury here for me, and uh, really a bummer because I kind of want to take Cleveland in this game. I know Pittsburgh's had a nice run here and doing a good job. Looks like they can still get this spot from Pittsburgh here. But the injury for me that really has me bummed out here is Harold Bannon Jr., but does have a probable tag. It's a groin injury, so I'm really skeptical about his participation. But he's had such a great uh, connection here with Harold Bannon Jr., with Isaiah Bond. I mean, Sanders is, there's no doubt. I'm impressed enough to sit here and say I think that Sanders is maybe the reason why the Browns can be competitive tomorrow in this game against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Pittsburgh needs it, no doubt about it. Their backs are to the wall too, trying to hold off uh, uh, the Ravens there and put them away here. Finally, I mean, the Ravens are at 21% currently. The Steelers are at 79%. But like I said, the Ravens need to go everything their way, and it did there on Saturday night. So let's see, though, what you folks have in this one with the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Cleveland Browns in a division game. Don't forget, I think that can't be overstated as well here in this one. Pittsburgh, hey, who saw it coming? Averaging basically 28 points on offense over their last three victories here right now over Baltimore, Miami, and Detroit. Very impressive, just in time for Pittsburgh, making everybody happy right now. Pittsburgh just 4-3 against the spread as a favorite, 7-7 against the spread as a road favorite since the pandemic. Steelers are 19-13 against the spread in their last 32 off of a win, 10-7 against the spread in their last 17 road games in the division. So they've been able to do it there as well. They've gone over in 4 of their last 5. Look, I can't sell you on the Browns and any of their stats or trends, it feels like, except for the fact that they are 5-2 against the spread at home this season. They've lost 4 in a row, 10 of their last 12 coming in. Sanders just 1-4 as a starting quarterback here right now. Browns not only 2-10 straight up, but 4-8 against the spread in their last 12 overall. But mention that home record this year. They're also 11-7, last 18 against the spread as a home dog here. But the Steelers did clobber Cleveland at home 23-9 as a 5-point favorite back in week 6. The home team has won the last 7 games in this series, one of the best. This AFC North, you know how it is. I don't need me to tell you about some of the way these these North teams trend. I'm trying to build up the confidence here to uh, to take the Browns. But let me go to the chat because I have a feeling it's going to be all Pittsburgh anyways. But that's okay. I can deal with it here. I think Pittsburgh is a little bit fraudulent. I'm not going to argue right now. This run that they're on offensively here, they've done a very very nice job, and would be almost a shame if they didn't make the playoffs because the Ravens really haven't looked the part. Pittsburgh at least has looked like a playoff team down the stretch here. So let's see what you've got here in this one. Could it be Garrett to get a sack? If not, they'll just chalk it up. They'll just go back and give him a sack later on. Steelers cover here for Andre, but and bet Garrett for a sack. Here's the thing. Now, they talk about the incentives. The incentives have been a real hot topic on YouTube this week, and I'm a believer in the incentives. Okay, yes, is it built into the line? Yes. Do coaches are you building it into the line that you're just are they blindly just bumping up the line because the coaches are going to give yeah, they're part of the organization. Maybe you're supposed to protect the organization, but they're helping them too with extra carries or passes from a quarterback. For example, the sack record's a little different, but you remember the famous incident, when uh, uh, the previous sack record happened. Okay, no Metcalf and T.J. Watt ready to go here. So yeah, no Metcalf there. So what a guy, huh? How about the guy though with his 15 minutes of fame? I mean, I wish I was so skillful. Uh, why would anybody show up to this fool's press conference? They did, and he got everybody's attention. So good on him. We definitely a joke, but even if he didn't say those things, doing a press conference, I'm on DK's side all of a sudden. He didn't punch him. He just grabbed his stupid shirt or his hair or whatever it is there. You know what? I shouldn't have got suspended. Let's look into it a little further. If the guy's doing the press conference and everything, I have a feeling, he egged him on, right? It looks like a bad AI video. All right. What's going to happen with Deshaun Watson, right? He crept up in the scene a little bit, right? Could Watson here be coming back? What a disaster that was and is. Browns over 1.5 field goals. I'm always skeptical in Cleveland of the kickers. It's uh, cold weather here. 45 degrees. It's a nice day, actually. There's precipitation coming in here. Over 60% chance of rain for the first half of the game. It is expected to clear, only to come in with more rain. So I think rain is imminent or very probable in this game. 46 degrees, though, it will not turn to snow. And uh, will Pittsburgh pressure Sanders? Will he be able to get some running game going here for Cleveland? Look, that's another. They've lost Judkins here. They have a really bare backfield in this one. It's going to be mostly the passing game. I'm glad Fannon's in here. They're lacking weapons for sure in this game. You're going to have guys like. Jerry Judy hopefully can get something going, but look, it's not a great matchup here for Judy necessarily. But I would say watch for Cedric Tillman. I know I said it last week, but watch for Isaiah Bond. He did get shut out last week, but Sanders had him twice the week before for 89 yards, including that long pass. And also Malachi Corley. He had the big game last week, of course, especially in the return game. So let's see here. See if we can't get a few more comments here. Browns over in the field goals, though, says Timmy. And Sports Fan says it is, but you know what? It's going to get covered because of the Pittsburgh playoff situation here. One thing I noticed about the red zone, the games that don't get as much attention are the ones where the teams are totally eliminated there. And Dylan was in at quarterback. Over here from Andre. And let's see here. Browns, is that Browns team total there? Oh, it might be. Oh, Timmy Two Shoes. That's what that is. Okay. All right, but I think we've talked about this one long enough. Let me see. Juggle Judy. Yeah, I can't hang on there. Okay. Andre says he's kind of lost it. He never could, right? That's been Judy's big problem. And then he talks like he's still talking like he's all pro after all these years, just like he did when he was young. Remember the incident? Remember the sideline incident where he was arguing with the reporter, a former wide receiver, and the reporter said, well, let me see in a couple years. The reporter was right. He was the better. I'm trying to think of who it was. You guys can remind me. That's showing my age there. But who was the sideline reporter that got into an argument with Jerry Jeudy? And he said something to the effect of, "We'll see you in a couple years, fella." And I think that the sideline reporter was probably right in that one. Basically said that Jerry Jeudy was not going to be a top receiver. I think that was when he was with Denver, maybe, or something like that. All right, here's one that will not get covered extensively on the red zone. Okay, the Saints and the Titans here in this one, and got another great quarterback matchup here with Tyler Shuck and Cam Ward in this one. Look, Titans are committed to Ward. You got to appreciate sometimes what teams do in these situations. Tennessee here just 3-12, but they've won 2 of their last 3. The Saints, they're 5-10. They've won 3 straight. This is one of the best games on the card. How are they not going to show this one on the red zone? These two teams have combined to go 5-1 over the last 3 weeks. Good on them. Saints have also covered 4 straight games. They're 2-1 as a favorite this year against the spread. 4-3 against the spread on the road. These Saints. For the Titans here, 7-8 against the spread, 4-4 against the spread at home, just 1-7 straight up in their home games here. And look, I don't know if the Saints are to be trusted on the road necessarily. I mean, maybe the Titans can get something going. It's virtually a pick'em game here. Titans, of course, hammered Kansas City last week, but hey, even we were on that one, saw it coming, right? They played okay against San Francisco, and they beat Cleveland, remember, on the road. So been a nice little comeback here for the Titans a little bit. A good job for them, too, here in this one. So both teams got a little something going on here. We don't have to spend much time on this one, but see what you guys have with these two coming in here. Definitely, I don't know if it's a tankathon style game here for the Titans necessarily, but hey, they'll get a nice draft pick. Saints are actually 4-2 in their last 6 overall. After that dismal 1-8 start right now, Tyler Shuck has gone 4-3 now as a starter in the league, and I think everyone's started to talk about him a little bit. Saints are just 1-7-1 against the spread in their last 9 games as a road favorite. They're also 8-11 last 19 ATS in interconference play. Tennessee here, they've covered 5 of their last 7 games. I don't think Mike McCoy is going to be back, but I said, I like McCoy as a head coach. He's 28-38 in his career. They could do worse than bringing Mike McCoy back next season, but we'll see what the Titans end up doing. They've been running the ball very, very well since McCoy took over. They're averaging over 160 yards per game over the last 3 weeks. Tennessee just 9-17 against the spread, their last 26 as an underdog, and 0-10 against the spread in their last 10 games coming in off of a win. They've never been able to follow it up with even a spread cover at all. So Tennessee's gone over in 6 of their last 9 games. Saints are 3-1 against the spread their last 4 visits into Nashville, but it has been, let's see, when was the last meeting here? In 2023, Saints won 16-15 at New Orleans as a 3-point favorite. So, okay, let's hear from you in the chat. 5 of the last 7 meetings between the franchises have gone under here, but let me hear from you in this one. Saints have gone under in 10 of their last 11 coming in, but seems like we've seen enough some offense to me from it's been improved offense is the way I feel, and I might be a little bit contrarian here. I know they can. The Saints will be able to pressure Ward here big time, and Pollard, and Spears, they actually could have a pretty good tandem there in the backfield in this one. For New Orleans, they're down to Estime, who they looked all right there last week. Didn't have a lot of yards, but looks good carrying the ball. Saints also, though, some dinged up a little bit here on the wide receiver front. Looks like the news is relatively good, though, however, for these guys uh, coming into the game right now. Let me see if we've got it here. We know Kamara is going to miss here again with that ankle injury. Foster Moreau is out as well. I think just the key though is that you're going to want to have Olave in there. I thought Tipton was on the injured list too. He is questionable, Mason Tipton, here for the Saints. So let me go to the chat though in this one. I'm taking the over in this game. It may reek of a ugly game here, but I don't mind right now. Maybe these two offenses with the game not meaning anything here. Maybe they'll pin their ears back defensively. Let's see what you got in the chat here. Andre says Saints win. Teflon Don says Saints here. Cal Dog says they don't even put this one on TV. This is a broken windshield special. I left 2 tickets on my dashboard and someone broke the window of my car and left 2 more. Now I have 4 tickets to the game. Timmy Tushu says Shuck to rush and scores touchdown in this one. Greg here, he's leaning to the under with this game, and he likes the Titans to win it. And Andre says, I'm not betting this game. Come on, there's all these other good games. All right, Olave TD for Timmy. And Timmy says he expects the Titans to improve. Who do you think is going to coach this team, though? I don't think it's going to be McCoy, but what can the Titans do at coach? All right, give me the over in this one with the Saints and the Titans. All right, we don't need to spend too much time on that one. Let's go to a game with a little bit of playoff impact here. We just mentioned, of course, a situation here in the NFC South with the Carolina Panthers. Look, I said the Panthers have a big shot to win. So keep your eye on the scoreboard here. These are both 1 p.m. Eastern games, so the scoreboard watching will be taking place during the game. Miami's lost 2 in a row coming in, but the Bucks have lost 3 in a row. They've needed to win every one, and they haven't done it. So you kind of wonder right now. The Bucks haven't covered a spread in weeks and in months, in 2 months practically. They haven't covered a spread right now, and they're losing games like nobody's business. All to division foes. The games they needed to win, New Orleans, Atlanta, and Carolina, and they flubbed them all up there, especially Baker, right? Look, we like Baker. His toughness, he's always, but Baker, it's like, is this what the Bucks are doing here with their play calling? They get the lead and they're still kind of going for, they need to be more conservative and kind of dial it back a little bit when they were getting those leads. They end up making a crazy turnover or something because who is trying to do a little bit too much. There's a time and a place for Baker, but he needs to dial it back a little bit in the key moments is what it feels like. So look, they're kind of healthy here for sure. Man, it's just a real bummer. We can't seem to keep Mike Evans healthy here all the time, but man, it's a long list here right now. Let's see. Godwin probable for the Bucks here. And let me see here. Okay. Bucky, having Bucky back, that has been huge. Evans is ready to go and healthy. It's just that last week, he did have a touchdown and everything, so it's good to have him back. I didn't think he looked that great, though. Egbuka, though, in there, and Godwin. Look, they've got all the weapons here. For Miami, Quinn Ewers in there at quarterback this week. I thought last week, 260 yards, 20 of 27. He had the 2 picks, but he's kind of a slinger out there for sure. Achan, good matchup for him. The offense looks fine here with Waddle in there and Malik Washington as well. Could see action here from Waller and Dulcich. Look, the Buccaneers can't stand prosperity. The Dolphins might be a little bit of a spoiler here, it feels like. Tampa Bay 5-10 against the spread this year. Haven't covered in nearly a month and a half, maybe longer. 3-6 ATS as a favorite. Tampa's gone over in five of their 9 games as a favorite. Miami 4-3 to the over at home this season. I want to hear from you in the chat with this matchup and see what you're going to do here. There's definitely a little bit of a tax, it feels like, on Tampa Bay in this game. Here's a team that can't cover a spread. Now they're a 6-point favorite on the road, a team that's also lost 6 of their last 7 games overall, coming in 9-12 ATS, their last 21 as a road favorite. They've gone under. Tampa Bay has in 6 of their 8 road games this season. Miami, if they can get any defense at all, they're going to be a threat to be in this game. They have lost the last 2 games here by a combined score of 73-36. But like I said, they did score
Major line move.
A few touchdowns. They were up against Joey B last week. Maybe a little bit of a difference with Baker, but they did get lit up pretty bad. Actually, they were in the game until halftime. In the second half, the Bengals took advantage of a lot of Miami miscues there. Miami 10-7 ATS, last 17 is a home underdog. 12-8 ATS, their last 20 coming in off of a loss. Tampa's won 5 of the last 6 meetings between the two teams, and they've gone over in 5 straight meetings between the two, but the last meeting was in 2021 when Tampa won 45-17 at home. So we can hear from you in the chat. Let's get your plays here in this one with the Buccaneers and the Dolphins here. Tampa's failed to cover here in 7 straight officially. They've covered 7 in a row against Miami overall, winning 6 of the 7 games. See what the chat has to say. Bucks here for Zach Rossi. Cal Dog says take it down to 4.5 and take the Bucks. Greg here says he likes Miami there a little bit. Andre says Bucks will win it. Bucks will win it there, but maybe not cover. He's got the 3 touchdowns. Who's going to score the 4th? I mean, you got Evans, Ibuka, and Irving. Who's going to get the? Might as well just tell us who's going to get the 4th. I want a 4 parlay of 4 touchdowns. Man, that would be a big payoff. Let's see here. Mayfield to get rushing yards. And, Godwin not playing. Okay, thank you, Andrew. Man, that's news to me. I have him as probable in this game. Thank you, Andre. Whew. I thought, he's coming in here with a bruised fibula, but I have him projected here as a strong game here right now. Let's see what this says. Godwin here. 5 or more targets in 5 straight games. Doesn't quite get the yardage right now that we're used to with Godwin. All right. Yeah, well, I'll take your word for it. But, man, I've got him as probable right now. I pay good money for these injury reports. Okay, Tampa will win this one on pride. Why not? Why wouldn't Tampa needs to win? It's Miami that's going to win this one on Pride. Andre, there it is. Waller. All right, Evans receptions here for Timmy. Achan over in his carries and Evans to get those carries as well. I was just a little concerned what I saw from Miami. I want to take them in this game, and I might still, but I got to go over with this one with Tampa Bay and Miami. Miami gave up a ton of points there to the Bengals last week. Yeah, Bengals might have a better offense, but they're not a better team than the Buccaneers here. So look, I think Miami might end up getting there on a, maybe a little bit of a backdoor here. The Buccaneers have a lot of issues as well. So I'll take the over though, but I think I'm going to be trying to find my way to Miami here. And Timmy says, what do you think of the Miami touchdown situation here? Yeah, um, uh, I think Achan there. I think Waddle would probably be my top guys there. Maybe I'd look to uh, Waller, but I'd probably go Achan 2 TD kind of a price. All right, good job, you guys, in that one. We're moving on here. All right, now interesting news here, right? Because you got the Jags coming in. Of course, the Jags are, heading to the postseason as a division champion here in the AFC South. We know that, but for the Colts now, they're out. The result of the game on Saturday has now eliminated the Colts. The problem here is you've had Philip Rivers taking starters reps all week, and now you don't need Philip Rivers in there. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit for Riley Leonard here. It's kind of you can't ask him to go in there and take the first team reps when you haven't really been practicing all week. I guess you could, but I have a feeling here that we'll see both quarterbacks actually for the Colts. They'll be playing out the string a little bit. For the Jaguars here, as a road favorite, they look poised possibly to, I don't know, to smash here. This is a road favorite that I might be interested in. I know it's hard because the Jags aren't someone that strikes too much fear because of their reputation, but they sure are on a roll right now with this winning streak. And you don't expect these Colts to get in their way now that the Colts, kind of like the Cowboys, right, last week. Yeah, it's one thing to be eliminated, and maybe next week you come back and you had a whole week of practice. Here's a team that maybe the writing was on the wall a little bit, but the Charger game was kind of a toss-up going in. So you got to kind of look at the Colts as a team that's been practicing hard all week, just like the Cowboys were last week. And then, boom, it drops from under you a little bit, and all of a sudden, you don't have any momentum at all, any motivation, I think is the word I'm looking for. And I think that's going to end up being a problem here for the Indianapolis Colts. Sorry, gang, just have a little technical issue here. That's going to be the problem for the Indianapolis Colts, I believe, in this one. Still a little bit tough here at 5.5 and 48.5 with this matchup, but the Colts, what's my motivation? Jacksonville's covered 6 straight games right now, won 6 straight. They've also won 10 of the last 12 meetings in this matchup. Colts have lost 5 in a row, gone 2-5 against the spread in their last 7. 6 straight meetings between these two teams have gone over, and man, you got to think that this thing's got a real chance to go over in this one, especially Jacksonville 6-1 to the over on the road. Colts are 4-3 to the over at home, but Jacksonville a terrific favorite here. Yeah, the Colts are 4-2 ATS as an underdog this season. Jacksonville's gone over in 4 of their last 5 games coming in. The Colts have gone over in 4 of their last 5 games at home. So a short week too for the Colts. They played the 49ers, of course, remember, on Monday night. That can't bode well here right now. Remember, they were 7-1 with the Colts coming into this season before they lost Daniel Jones and put him into this situation that they're in. For the Colts here, 6-10 ATS, their last 17 division home games here, not great. Jaguars won the previous meeting 36-19 3 weeks ago when it was already starting to kind of fall apart for the Colts. Jacksonville, not only they've had that long-term success, 10-2 against them, they're also 5-1 in the last 6 straight up and against the spread. Although the Jaguars have lost 6 of the last 7 trips to Indianapolis. The Colts have actually fared well at home. It's just that most of the games, just the way the schedules worked out, there, or the way the division games have kind of worked out, the way they were scheduled, Jacksonville has the short-term success. Anyways, 5 straight meetings between the two teams have gone over. That's where this one's probably headed as well. I'm going to take the over as my play. Man, I'm on the overs here. Under Ramon is going over, but that's going to happen later in the season. Let me hear what you guys have to say. I think I'm on Jacksonville too, but hey, I might have a premium, okay? Let's see what we got. Greg said Jacksonville. Yeah, they just dumped them there big time. Jack Rossi on the Jags. Greg, even here, liking the Jaguars in this one. And I think Timmy talking about Lawrence taking off running. He's an awkward runner, I would say, right? Jags win. Rivers gets the Colts a cover in the end. Andre, I appreciate that. I'm not going to necessarily say here that Rivers. I'm not sure Rivers will be in the game actually by the end of the game. I think we might see Leonard eventually there. The Rivers is going to be under pressure, man. He's going to be, the one thing he does, there's no doubt, and they were showing it, is Rivers still probably has a quicker release than 20 of the quarterbacks in the league. He just, that's what he does. He trusts the receivers. He times the receivers. Too many of these young quarterbacks waiting for receivers to get open. You guys have said that in the chat. All right, let's see. Here is an overplay. Thank you, Creston Taylor. Man, Creston Taylor, it's nice to have you as a member of the chat all-stars here. Really appreciate that. And if Creston likes the over, I got to go with the over here for our commentator, Creston. Thank you so much. Nice to have you, Creston. Appreciate it. Hope you I need some guys to comment in the chat. Okay, and also Greg says, yeah, you can see it, right? He gets a ball out there. That's why when the receivers are on the wrong route, sometimes it looks bad, right? And they don't realize dealing with some of those other quarterbacks. Just be ready. Run your route and be ready. All right. Rivers a journeyman. Yep, man. And here's the thing. I mean, like I said, they don't need, if you're the Indianapolis Colts, other than the fact that maybe the fans are coming to watch Phillip Rivers play, right? There's a little bit of that, but you got to look at your future now. These are NFL games, and you got a guy like Riley Leonard in there. Get him a little bit of work in the walkthrough. I think you got to get him in there. Sports fan here as well, playing a little bit of defensive props. And couldn't have said it any better, Andre. That's what the quarterbacks are lacking nowadays. All right. I guess that is it for that one. Let's move on here right now to our next one here. We're still in the early block with the Patriots taking on the Jets, and division game here. Yes, the Jets are awful, and this is going to be their big game of the season now. Here it feels like the Patriots are 12-3. The Jets are 3-12. Now, let's see what you think. I mean, I'm ready to break it down, but man, yeah, the Jets here going with another rookie quarterback in here. Brady Cook still in there. Patriots, not saying they're not in a situation where they're not motivated to win. Obviously, they're still breathing down the neck of Denver here. There's always a chance they could win out. Denver loses a game next week. You still could get that best record in the AFC. But you got to win this one, and you're favored by 2 touchdowns here against the Jets, who are they're obviously terrible here. But oops, hey, I'm going to go broke here, laying 1.5. Let me fix the spread there, guys. You know better than I. 13.5, 1.5. Wouldn't that be something? So, can you stomach it here? Do you think the Patriots just go out and crush here, or the Jets play their Super Bowl here and get up for this one against the Patriots at home, getting 2 touchdowns? You could say maybe the Patriots, they as strong as they've been, are they a team that looks like a team that can cover 2 touchdowns? They did against the Jets, remember, in the home game. They were favored by 12 and a half in the home game. They won 27-14 back on November 13th. The total in that one was 43 and a half. I'm trying, man, my eyes just got a year older too. They covered, they were laying 12 and a half. They won by 13. The Patriots are 6-1 against the spread on the road, 6-3 against the spread as a favorite. Those are all great numbers. You do have a Jets team here that's going to be, basically just freewheeling here a little bit without a care in the world. Their last 3 games, they've given up an average of 37 points, I believe, in these last 3. So Patriots are 9-3 against the spread in their last 12, 8-4 against the spread their last 12 as a road favorite. Patriots have gone over in 7 of their last 9 games, went 5-3 against the spread. Their last 8 on the division road. Jets are as a home underdog, they've been okay this season here, but still just 12-19, last 32 against the spread, coming in off of a loss. You got to wonder if Aaron Glenn, you'd think they'd probably try to stay with him another year, but 3-12 or whatever they end up is not going to be a good look. New England's won 18 of the last 20 games in this series, although just 5-4 against the spread their last 9 trips into New Jersey, despite going 8-1 straight up, which is, you think of it, yeah, oh sure, Patriots 8-1 straight up. Remember, they were a bad team, for several years here, right? Mediocre at best. And they still were beating the Jets. 7 of the last 8 meetings between these 2 teams have gone under here right now. So if it goes under, that does give the Jets maybe a little bit better of a chance to cover. The first one did go under. They would have covered this spread, 13.5. So let's see here. This one might be the trickiest of the day because of that big spread, right? And can you do it here with New England? 8-2 ATS last 10 against the Jets. Jets have gone over in 13 of their last 20. New England's gone over in, as I said, 7 of their last 9. These 2 teams are combined 18-12 to the over this season. Jets are 5-2 to the over at home, 8-5 to the over as a dog. Here comes the picks from you in the chat. All right, and it's going to be Andre says he's got it. Oh, he's got the Jets and the over here barely. And, oh, look at this. Greg says the Jets are going to win the game by 3 points. That's huge, Greg. Oh, he's stepping out. Good call, Greg. Wow. Oh, he's changed it. Oh, hold on. Greg has changed his mind. He now has changed it. I can't figure out. Sometimes Greg's got 2 different predictions here. I guess it's kind of like those touts, they're like throw out one side and then maybe it'll happen. All right. Andre says he'll call off the dogs. Got to keep guys healthy if you're New England right now. Will May even get his passing yards? They might be too far ahead. And Creston does say, yeah, Creston I don't disagree with that. I don't know if it's so much playing down to their competition. You're right. And but again, a division game too, right? And don't worry if you don't always need to do the corrections. I got your back here on that. I don't make fun of anybody because of the people talking to the thing too now. M the Great, nice to see you here today. Sports fan says the Jets will be playing from behind. That'll open it up for Brady Cook. I mean, look, why couldn't Cook, I think we all agree he was a nice college quarterback there. But hey, Missouri could have used him today. So I guess that's it. Oh, Cal Dog, like he does like the over here in this one. I don't know, man. I might be on the under. I mean, this series is a dead solid under for sure. I know the teams are trending over here right now, but the Jets, this is their only, I don't want to say their only hope. Uh, they've definitely been giving up some big time points here as well. So I'm actually on the under in this one with the Patriots and the Jets here at 43. All right. Usually Cal Dog and I, our totals are right on, but I've got to go against him on that one. All right, let's get to it. A game so good, it's got a time slot all to itself. The only game at 4:05 Eastern, 1:05 Pacific. It's the Tankathon game of the year. The teams are accusing each other of tanking already. You guys are tanking. No, you guys are tanking. This one might be a grudge match. You know, over the last 10 years, the New York Giants have the worst record cumulatively in the NFL, which is surprising because you'd think it'd be the Raiders here. But man, a game so bad, it's going to be good, right? The two teams leading the Tankathon here at 2-13 right now. You know, I remember because I'm a Chargers fan, but you might remember this game. I think it was 3 years ago, right? The Chargers and the Raiders were kind of playing not to win against one another. And then it went overtime. I think the game finished in a tie or something like that. Nobody was wanting to score. It was almost like they were purposefully turning the ball back over. That's what's going to happen in this game. It's going to look as ugly as you might expect. You might say, well, you know what? Maybe it'll be a thing of beauty with the evenly rated teams. But the struggle is real. The Tankathon is real here, I think. And, could be argued here that getting the points at home with the Raiders actually could be the call because this one could easily be some bizarre score of like 10-9, 13-12, 12-11, 13-11. 17-15, 41 and a half. I mean, what are we kidding me? Is that real? Who do they think's going to do anything in this game offensively, right? Between these two? Come on. I don't want any part of it here. You think Jackson Dart? Hey, here, good news. The Giants are in love with Jackson Dart. Good luck to you on that. What if they get the first round pick and they're going to be, would they take Fernando Mendoza, and say, hey, well, you know what? We were just kidding about Jackson Dart. Geno's thrown for 2,800 yards. I don't know what you want. Is he the worst quarterback? Maybe he is if you compared his expectations and his salary and everything. The one guy who's starting to have some Ashton Genty's had a disappointing season. Brock Bowers is out of this game. I mean, that's a huge deal already. We know Max is out of this game. That caused the line to move. They were saying, the Raiders said, well, we're going to put Max on the IR here for the rest of the season. And then everyone said, oh, look at the Raiders tanking. Well, Max needs surgery. So who's tanking now? Right? Theo Johnson is out for the Giants here in this one. That's somewhat significant as well. The big tight end here, they're also missing offensive linemen in here. And the Raiders actually, I don't want to say it's a clean bill of health at this time of the year, but for this game, they actually look like the much healthier team than the Giants. Sands, Max here, and Bowers. I mean, those are two big names for sure. But other than that, the rest of the line, I think they got more guys in there than the Giants. So see what you're going to do. Again, I'm sure no one's going to bet on that. I'm sure everyone's going to say, I pass. And one thing is, if you guys are going to come to this show, I'm not passing. I'm going to take this opportunity to place a bet on the Raiders and the Giants. The Raiders and the Giants have both lost 9 straight games coming in right now. Giants have gone over in 8 of their last 10. Raiders have gone over in 4 of their last 6. The series has gone under in 7 of the last 10 meetings. It's a interconference series, so the teams haven't met since 2023. The Raiders won at home 30-6 in that game. I think it was a pick 'em on that day. This will only be the second time this season that the Giants are favored. They did fail in their only other time as a favorite. That was against Washington 2 weeks ago in that 29-21 home loss to the Commanders. Raiders, meanwhile, 5-7 against the spread as an underdog, 3-4 against the spread at home. Raiders have actually covered the spread in 2 of their last 3. The Giants have failed to cover in 3 straight games. So, look, Gino, they have the advantage. Gino is, I think, better than Dart right now, whatever you want to say about it. So see what you have. You're going to make a pick here in this one with the big game. It's so bad, it's going to be good. Here we go. The jokes will be shown on the screen if you want to take a shot. Only the good ones, though. All right. Timmy says, what about I think he was talking about the previous game there. I think he was talking about the Patriots and Jets game with the weather there. Sorry about that, Gino. Let me see if I could get that for you. It's turning out to be pretty nice, isn't it, around the country right now for the most part? A little bit mild here during the holiday. All right, let me see if I can get that, though. The weather in the Jets game, 32 degrees. So, yeah, cold but nice. Cloudy skies, freezing temperatures. That's cool. All right. Raiders didn't tank last season. Take the Raiders. Cal Dogs call it the Tankathon Bowl. And I don't know if I use that term. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that site, but go to tankathon.com and you'll see the reverse standings for every sport. Not only the reverse standings, but also which teams have, their pick is some other team's pick. So that's something to look at in some of the other sports as well. Tankathon.com. 21-20, Raiders can win this one. Maybe for Greg there. Giants here is he says the Raiders can only manage 5 field goals. Timmy's got Dart under his yardage and Gino under his yardage. Cal Dog on the Raiders. And Raiders, could they get a back door here? What are you saying? Like the Giants might be up 8 or something, or 9 maybe, and then the Sportsman says 1-800. I called the 1-800 number and they gave me the Giants minus 2.5. All right. Well, the jokes weren't good. The game's not good. We'll just move on. And I'll take the under in this one with the Giants and the Raiders. Got 2 teams tanking. I'm going under. Okay, here we go. Right, Greg, but we can't really tell a lot of times anymore who's tanking. All right, let's go to a big one here now. Let's take it seriously here with the Eagles taking on the Bills. A couple of Super Bowl contenders here, no doubt. Eagles 10-5 right now. The Bills 11-4. They're on a little bit of a roll here with 4 straight wins all of a sudden, and that's what you want to see from this Bills team right now. Because they could use a little bit of confidence and momentum. Not that 10-5 is not a great record here right now, but also for the Bills, just the fact that they're going to probably end up short here of the division title. I mean, they're not toast yet here, but hey, it couldn't hurt to win this one over the Eagles here. Both teams coming in here. Eagles have won 2 straight over the Raiders and the Commanders. Before that, they lost to Dallas, Chicago, and the Chargers, and questions were abound with How are the Eagles really have enough here right now? And Allen was just playing so good. Now, granted, they didn't cover against Cleveland, uh, but that was on the road. It was tough. We were on Cleveland in that game. They didn't cover against the Bengals at home, but they eventually got it done. Remember, they also won at New England. That incredible comeback. The Bills are looking pretty good at just the right time. Not only that, but they beat 4 games ago to start this winning streak was the Steelers, and you got to count the Steelers as a team that's been playing pretty well here of late as well. So I think the signs on the Bills here point to them in this game. Yeah, the Eagles are 5-3 against the spread. The Bills are a dismal 5-8. The Eagles 5-3 against the spread on the road. Bills 5-8 against the spread as a favorite, but uh, I think a lot of the, when you're playing your division, the Dolphins in there and the schedule that the Bills had, they were favored in a lot of games where they were, kind of maybe too big of a favorite there a little bit. I think this one kind of plays right into their wheelhouse, actually. I kind of like the Bills in a blowout over the Eagles in this one right now. Obviously, Bills do have a pretty good pass defense here. And, you think of the Eagles in this offense right now. Yes, they have not looked that great here, and that's where the questions are kind of coming in a little bit, not running the ball effectively. It kind of looks like a play calling situation, actually. Uh, with the group right now, anyway. I'm not going to be saying the Eagles are, totally toast yet, but there have been questions about this offense for sure. The last time these two teams met was in Philly back in 23, 37-34. Eagles got the win as a 2.5 point favorite. Eagles have actually won 5 of the last 6 in this series. This goes back now. Nearly 10 years though uh, uh, here. Bills won not only 4 in a row, but 7 of their last 9 here right now. Also, Bills 7-6 against the spread, last 13 against NFC. For the Eagles here, 12-7 against the spread, last 19 interconference games, 14-7 against the spread, last 21 off of a win. So those numbers are kind of in favor of the Eagles here, but I've got the Bills in this one, gang. I think the Bills get the win here. An important win for the Bills, too, is like I said, they're still battling here with the Pats. They're only a game back, so you got to consider. And now they will, know what the result of the Patriots game is. That is also something you'll have to take into consideration. But nonetheless, they still are battling right now. Okay, so at -2 though, so that does kind of leave it up in the air, but I'm going to take the Bills for now and just take them here on night moves -2. Some of these games will go off the board for a little while, actually. Let's see here what you have in the chat. And Greg says, let's see, revenge from last year, from 2 years ago, right? Am I get it right? Did I get the date right? They didn't play last year, right? It was from 2 years ago. That great game, that 37-34 overtime game. If you remember that one at Lincoln Financial, they won it on a touchdown. Remember at the I think right at the end of the game. Oh gosh. Hurts got the touchdown in overtime. They both had scored in overtime, right? Wasn't it? Major line. Trying to remember now. That's why I think it was 2 years ago. Okay, AJ Brown touchdown. Also, Cook, Allen, and Kincaid. Brown, Hurts, and Brown, Hurts there for touchdowns in the game. That's cool. Look at those, all those touchdown scorers. That's what I like to see. We can make some money here with that. With those touchdowns. All right, let's see. He meant Hurts, right? Not Ertz. No Ertz in this game, right? Let's see here. Cal Dog, Eagles first half. How about Barkley? Anytime sports fan, Barkley, anytime touchdown. Bills defense allowed those touchdowns to the running backs and the weather here. Yeah, it's expected to be raining most of the game. 75% chance of rain. So they just are calling for showers throughout. In fact, early on, it could be a little bit slushy, even, they said. So, and also Josh to go under. Uh, I will say, Allen, obviously, to me, one of the better, if you got anything, two of the better bad weather quarterbacks here. And can Shakir get the ball? That's going to be tough, right? Because it's a good matchup it's a good matchup for the defenses, period. The guy who's got I think the only over prop I like in this game is Barkley there. And look at Creston. Do you think player incentives play a part on prop bets? Creston, I do. The other thing is when you see a guy like, Sal Vetri on social media or something, look, the bookmakers know too. And the bookmakers know they're already getting action that way. Those are always heavily bet. And that's what I commented on at the beginning. So, yes, the lines are inflated on some of these props, but also you have teams kind of following up with the incentives, getting more carries, more pass attempts to receivers, and things like that. So it's built into the line, but also there can be a lot of momentum. The reason why the line will stick and not be totally is because the sharps are going to bet it under once they think it's gone too high because of the projection and the betting. They're the one who'll keep it under. The sharps will always take the numbers. Remember what they always say: the sharps don't bet teams. Same thing in the props game, and the sharps are more into the props game than ever right now because they can't get as much on the sides or the props, so they have to pepper the props and go all over the board to try to make their money. So like I said, I like to take unders. It's just so boring on the shows sometimes. So let's see here. Allen can hit Knox and Kincaid. Let's check the injury report. First of all, you have the two best teams in the league, in my opinion, at guarding tight ends. Both teams, excellent. And Kincaid and Knox both have injury designations coming into this game. I don't think it's terribly awful news, but let me see if I can look at it here. They're both just questionable, both with knee injuries right now. And I'm actually not sure. I'm pretty good at speculating the injuries, and I'm questioning whether or not one or both will be in the game. So maybe take Knox there. And just wait for the injury report on this one because, it could be a situation where, if they didn't need to win or something, that both players, this is what I was gathering, that both players could be take the week off of this game. And if one is a little bit more dinged up, like one can't go and the other one's marginal, could still play in the game because they might need them. Could be a Super Bowl preview, says Greg. Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, both these teams have been so good. Okay, I've called up that game here now. So I want to look at it. 37-34, overtime game. This was back on back in 2023 in overtime. Both teams kicked field goals. I think that's what it said there. I still can't figure it out. I'm great at reading box scores, but this one's all messed up. Okay. Hey, we're not done. That just feels like we're done because that was such a good one. Here we go. Next up, another very important game. This almost is, even though the 49ers trail the Seahawks right now, this is almost if one of these two teams want to get to the number one seed, they got to win this game. For sure. And the 49ers do have a little bit better chance than the Bears, actually, despite trailing them in the overall standing. I mean, they're both 11-4, but because the Bears are a division champion here, and we don't know the champion of the West. The 49ers are going for like I said, they're going to play this game at home. They play next week at home, and then hey, if they get the number one seed, they could play all the way through. The Bears, look, this has been a great little situation here right now, and look, I think the hook is going to keep a lot of people on the Bears here. I don't know if this is a very good spot for the Bears actually, have known that they've kind of clinched their spot. They could, they're not locked into the number two, but it's seeming more and more, no matter what happens here, unless they could win these last two and get some help to get that they're going to play the Packers at home in the playoffs. It's almost like in the back of their mind, it feels like to me it might be resigned to that. So I think the Bears could be a little bit in trouble here. The Niners have all the momentum in the world to get this number one seed. So do the Bears. I get that. But the Niners are pretty hot. They're on a roll, and hey, good news. Fred Warner now, he's not back this week. He's not back next week. He might be back for the NFC Championship game, but that's a start. The Niners are maybe getting a little bit healthier on defense of late. That's what their problem has been most of the season. Still, here come the Niners, right? Hey, they're the team on a roll right now. Both teams are 11-4, but Niners 8-2 against the spread as a favorite here. They're just 3-3 against the spread at home. Actually, have been beating up some of these road teams a little bit as a favorite here, but I kind of like the Niners in this game. I know it's going to be tough with that hook, and I'm sure a lot of bettors are going to be interested in the hook here in this game, but. In fact, I'm seeing some fours out there as well, which is kind of telling, isn't it? The Bears have had a great season here right now, that really covering every game except for any game against the Packers. Bears did beat them though last time, 22-16 in that big game there last week to kind of get that bugaboo of that game 2 weeks earlier, the loss. So that to me kind of like felt like the Bears' big win. Granted, they're still very, very good, but you get that big sigh of relief win a little bit. You get this Niner team in here, not only winning every game right now, but smashing the opposition. Beat the Cardinals by 19, beat Carolina by 11, beat Cleveland by. I know I'm reading off a bunch of crummy teams right now, and the Niners have taken advantage of that ugly schedule. Niners are 6-4 to the over as a favorite. Chicago 5-2-1 to the over on the road here. So let's hear from you in the chat with this great game. The Bears have won 7 of 8. The only loss was to the Packers. They've won 11 of their last 13 overall. Johnson's done a great job with this team. Caleb Williams has been superb. There's no other way around it. He's done a great job. Throws the ball on the run just as we were hoping he would as he worked that part out of his career here. Bears are 7-2 straight up in their last 9 games decided by a touchdown or less. San Francisco has that short week as well, but at least they're at home in this one. And like I said, they've won the last 5 games by 19, 11, 18, 13, and 21. Also in that group, they beat Tennessee. They did look impressive in that Colts game there last Monday night, though, didn't they? Against Phillip. And yeah, they had the late touchdown as well that made it look a little bit bigger there. But Brock Purdy, okay, so all those Mac Jones truthers out there kind of, maybe even I don't know if I was one of them, but I think we've calmed that down at least for a little bit here with the way Purdy's looked here all of a sudden. I mean, the guy's won 2/3 of his games in his career here, 50 starts now here, his 50th career start coming on Sunday. The Niners are, like I said, just a terrific favorite this year, covering almost everything, covering at home as a favorite as well. These two teams have split the last 10. Bears are 2-5 straight up and also against the spread. Their last 7 trips to Santa Clara. The unders come in 4 of the last 6 meetings between the two teams, and I want to hear from you in the chat with this one. Great game here. 2 nice little featured games here in the afternoon block, and then this one. The night game here should be a good one. Make sure you're joining us there with San Francisco and the Bears. Let's see what you got in the chat. We still got a long ways to go here on the show with our other sports, so get ready. All right, there's lots of comments on this one. Let's see what we got here. I got to go back a ways. Mad Max is in the chat. Thank you, Mad Max. That's such a great comment about that question there. He got bummed out though. There, he got the bad end of a play there. Jennings and Moore for touchdowns have been almost automatic. Greg likes the Niners here. I do too, Greg. And Jimmy says Purdy for a pick, though. Andre's right on the spread there with his pick. He likes it right there at 28-24, so he's not taking any chances. Bears can put a little pressure maybe on Purdy. Andre's a Niner fan. I don't know if I knew that. And Shanahan, right? Look, can you believe the Niners are in this position? Could they get the number 1 seed after all the chaos this season? Chicago quite ain't ready for this match. The only thing that worries me a little bit is that short week for San Francisco, playing on the road here, and then coming. Like I said, at least they're at home. How about CMC for his rushing yards and a defensive prop for sports fan? I'm glad I said that, and you guys are putting in the tackle props. I think some people are kind of look at Timmy says go over 60. That might not be out of the question. All right, Caleb over in his passing yards. Jimmy says what some people are thinking, though. Sometimes against good teams, Purdy hasn't really. Maybe it's an incomplete sample size this season a little bit. All right, I'm going to take the San Francisco 49ers to cover here over the Bears. And Creston, thank you again in the chat. Oh, Bears fan. Oh, Creston, this has got to be great for the Bears fans this season. They must have been excited. After the first game, we were ready to say, this Ben Johnson. No, we didn't say that. We trusted in Ben Johnson, and it's paid off here for the Bears. Feels like they're only going to get better. Creston, what about the team possibly moving to Indiana? Do you think it's going to happen? Are you bummed it's going to happen? Or is the commute not too bad? The Bears fans would still go there. And what's the overall feel there in Chicago? It's got to be a little bit of a bummer. Whatever happened to tearing down Arlington Park and building the football stadium there? All right, Andre says Swift over on his carries. That's it for the NFL. All right. We've got an NBA slate. We've got an NHL slate. They're not long, but I think we're going to be here for another 30 minutes at least here right now. So keep going. We got 55 of you in here watching Junior Seau's number. All right, let's go to the NBA on Sunday. There's a couple of early starts here, 3:40 Eastern, 12:40 Pacific time with Oops. There we go. The graphics man's having some problems. All right. The 76ers are taking on the Thunder here in this one. And you got the Thunder here trying to bounce back. They're not playing the Spurs, so it should be okay here in this one with the Thunder favored by 2 touchdowns over the Sixers on Sunday. Make it 14 total, 225 here in this one with the Thunder. 26-5, 26-2 against teams not named the Spurs. Sixers coming in here 16-13. They've also lost 2 straight. I say also because we know OKC just lost those games to the Spurs. This total, though, has gone way up. I was typing these lines in back during the football game tonight. So now we're up to 228 here in this one. Well, I'm going to have to make that my pick because it's getting away from us now. It can't be a premium. I like the under, so I guess I could just say it right now that I'm going with the under. But we'll talk a few trends here and maybe a little bit about what we see in this one between the Sixers and the Thunder. You know, the Sixers have been one of the best spread teams this year. There's no doubt about it, even with uh, the ups and downs a little bit of their season. It's still like they've done a pretty good job here this year. 9-2-1 against the spread on the road, and you're getting 14 points here. Yes, you could say that maybe the Sixers here, Embiid, he's out for sure with a knee injury in this one. Paul George is probable. Jalen Williams, the forward for Oklahoma City, he's still out with that heel problem. Uzamain Dang is out as well. But man, when you got a 9-2-1 team here on the road, not only that, they've covered excellently this year. Philadelphia 17-11 ATS overall. We know the Thunder are a good covered team, but just 9-7 against the spread at home, 16-15 against the spread overall. It's just amazing they've covered so many games with that incredible record. But the Sixers are solid covering the number. I guess I've already given it away. I'm on the over, but going to be hard not to want to take 14 points with this Sixers team because, hey, we already say half the time, right? Hey, we don't need Embiid in there. You want him in there, but because of the maxi factor and the fact that they have capable players, even if it has been a struggle right now, there's still 3 games over 500. And you could say the Thunder are going to be mad, but still got to beat a team that's 9-2 against the spread as an underdog by 15 points or more. So, good luck to the Thunder. I'm sure they'll be angry enough to win here after those games. Hey, we were on the Spurs in both those games. I'm a believer in the Spurs, and I think everybody is now by now. Here we go with thank you, Creston, for that honest you don't want to see Chicago, a great sports town, have that team, but it does seem like a bummer here right now. How far is that Southern Indiana location from? I know it can't be that far, but it's got to be a good 90 minutes, 105 minutes or something. Is it longer? All right, and hope I have that right. Probably, you know what? They probably be just stuck in old Soldier Field. They'll probably just figure a way to. How many times have they also upgraded that place over the years? Thunder win, don't cover OKC first half. Maxi, George, and Edgecombe can't. Yeah, I mean, this is a good group. I'm not too bummed about the Sixers here. Also, let's see here. Greg likes them to cover, though. And Timmy there, let's see. And those, that's always the bummer about those player props. I believe me, I've kind of struggled with them here. I'm playing more props here at Tony's Picks, and trying to play those isolated games a little bit. And I think I'll get better, but had some mixed results here a little bit. But again, Tony's Picks, a great site. The only one that really does this packaging of the prop plays. Here you get at some of the other handicapper sites, but usually the information is entered in manually, and just a great way over here at Tony's Picks. Okay, I think that's it. I'm on the over here in this one at 228 now. I was all excited at 225. I was actually going to come in here and take the Sixers and put the over in as a premium, but instead I'm going to go with the over here now with this increase up to 228. All right. And 50 minutes. That's not bad at all. Yeah, that's not bad. A 1 hour drive. Look, if it's a beautiful facility, and again, shame on whoever, right? I've said it and I stand by it. A sports, using public money for a sports stadium, I'm a big sports fan. I hope every team doesn't build the fattest stadiums in the world. I wouldn't do it if it was my city. I think it's a bad investment for cities. Has any city ever benefited from a stadium anymore in the last 50 years? Okay, let's see here. Oklahoma City first quarter. Oh, is it going to be Gary, Indiana? Okay. And that isn't that where the Jackson 5 is from? Okay, here we go. It is, I know. Okay, let's go here. Warriors and Raptors here in this one. Warriors there. I think the Warriors up to a 4.5 point favorite. And this total's dropped as well to 223 and a half, I believe, here. Man, I typed these in now. It's a good 6 hours ago. So there we go. Warriors 4.5 here. They come in 16 and 15, but have won three straight. Toronto's lost three of their last four. They're 18 and 14 overall. However, Toronto, one of the worst home teams against the spread this season, just 4 and 11 ATS coming in. Warriors with wins here over Phoenix, over Orlando, and over Dallas. Just when everybody's starting to get on their case a little bit, they're starting to perk up here a little bit. Golden State's gone under in 5 of their last 6 games on the road. They're just 2 and 4 against the spread in their last 6. Toronto, meanwhile, has gone just 3 and 7 straight up in their last 10. 6 of the last 8 meetings between these two interconference foes have gone over. Toronto's gone under in 6 of their last 7 coming in. This one's been dropping here for sure. Toronto here as a home underdog. Look, they are 6 and 6 ATS as a dog. It's just that they've been bad against the spread at home. But I think they might be able to pull this one off against the Warriors with this matchup, and especially the spread going up here a little bit. I'm going to take Toronto to cover, maybe even money line this one. Look, I think the total going down, I wouldn't hesitate here, maybe going with the under. The Golden State's an over team. They're 18 and 13 to the over, 10 and 7 to the over on the road, and 13 and 8 to the over as a favorite. So they're in that role. But Toronto is 3 and 7 to the under in their last 10, or 6 and 7, like I said, 6 and 7 to the under in their last 7, and 6 and 9 to the under at home right now. So I think that move is right, but I'll take Toronto plus the points here in this one. Didn't want to peek at the injury report though for this game, and Barrett is questionable. That's a good sign. I think Barrett's going to make this lineup actually here on Sunday. We saw Melton leave the game with a knee injury against Dallas there. I think it was against Dallas, right? I saw Melton leave the game with an injury there, and he is out. Pajemski is probable. All right, might have a few comments in this one on the chat. And we've got Raptors plus the points here, I believe, for Andre. And Greg said Washington will beat Toronto. Is Barrett back in for Timmy? I'm saying that I think he's going to make it back in. Mr. Weskers has made it. Hello. He likes the Raptors here. And Greg there as well. Let's see. He's got it. He's got it right. He's got it over for sure. Greg is going over big time. All right. Ingram to hit his threes. And Mr. Weskers says, hurry up. Let's get to the NHL. Better yet, Mr. Weskers, let's do college ball here. This will be the first day of the next 78 days with college basketball every day. Grizzlies and the Wizards here in this one. You got the Grizzlies, a big favorite on the road against these Wizards. Grizzlies are 15 and 16 coming in, but hey, they're starting to perk up here a little bit as well with back-to-back wins over Utah and Milwaukee. They covered in both those games. For Washington, meanwhile, they've covered 3 of their last 4 and have recent wins here over this Memphis club on the road. Remember, 130 to 122. So you do got some revenge here for the Grizzlies, but they are on the road having to exact it. And look, if anything here, the Wizards beat Toronto last time out by 21 points, and they also have that cover recently against San Antonio as well. They were getting massive points at home and were able to get the money against the Spurs. So Memphis is a 10-4 against the spread as a favorite, one of the best records in the league in that role. Washington's 11-16 ATS as an underdog. Here coming in. Memphis has won 9 of the last 13 meetings between the two teams. The series is 12-6 to the under. In the last 18, Washington's gone under in 4 of their last 6. But overall, Washington is a big time over, actually. They're 10-3 to the over at home. However, Memphis is 5-11 to the under on the road. See what you have here in this one. Can the Grizzlies get a big road cover as a big favorite here? They do feel like they're kind of inconsistent, yes, but they've been playing a little bit better here of late. Vince Williams, he is out of this game for Memphis. Lawndale, he's questionable. Clark's been out now for a while. For Washington here, Branham is questionable. Keyshawn George also questionable. Kispert is out. Cam Whitmore remains out here for Washington. All right, let's see what we've got in the chat with this one. This is probably my least favorite of the group, so I want to hear from you. Yep, me too, Mr. Weskers. In fact, I think I'm going to end up here as taking the Wizards because I got to take somebody here on the show. Let's see here. This is, oh man, Greg's right on the number. Timmy likes it under. And that might be it. Andre likes the Wizards too. I'll take the Wizards in this one. Give me the Wiz at home plus the points. Okay, the Celtics are taking on the Blazers here. Celtics, they look. We said they were getting hot. It's official. I think they're hot. 4 in a row isn't hot, but the fact that they beat Indiana and then came back to beat them again on the road and get an impressive cover there on the day after Christmas and won at 140 to 122. They've covered 3 of their last 4, 9-6 against the spread on the road. Now Portland's a great underdog, 13-7 ATS when getting the points. Might turn some people on to Portland here. This is kind of their role for sure. 2 teams have not met yet this season. Portland is 8-6 to the over at home, but 9-11 to the under as a dog. For Boston here, they've covered 5 of the last 6 against Portland with a push in there. 10 of the last 12 meetings between the two teams have gone over between the Celtics and the Blazers. I think that's the way this one's actually going to go. The total here is at 230. And look, there's not a lot of trends here, maybe that point to it necessarily. In fact, Portland has gone under in 4 straight games, and Boston's gone under in 2 of their last 3 overall. But I think if you look at some of the numbers here, you got a Boston team that is really effective on the inside, and that's where they should excel. Still a top 10 3-point shooting team as well, and really terrific at distributing the ball. But man, Portland here at home getting some points with that great spread record. Maybe they are of interest here. Although usually it seems like on the road getting the bigger points has been a little bit better of a situation for them. Boston's been a consistent cover, no doubt about it, especially when you consider their 17-13 ATS overall. So give me the over, though, here in this one with the Celtics and the Blazers here on Sunday. Go to the chat in this one and see what you got. We've got some McCollum in there. Here's Andre says Blazers plus the points. Timmy says the Blazers can win here. They can't lose every game. Nets won after all today. Hey, I was on the Nets there yesterday as well. Not here on this show, but maybe on another show. Let's see. Mr. Wester's not going to be interested in laying Boston here. Avija for Andre here. Also, Andre liking White to go over. And Greg has it right on the number. All right. I'll take the over, but I might like those points, man. Blazers do a pretty good job covering, even if they have basically an opposite record of Boston. All right, we got a couple more here. Let's go to the West Coast for a start at 9:10 Eastern, 6:10 Pacific with uh, the Clippers at home against the Pistons. Now, the Clippers are hot. They've won 3 in a row right now, wins over uh, uh, Lakers, Houston, and Portland. 3 straight covers, and just kind of coincides with Harden heating up here, getting back healthy. Detroit, meanwhile, was on a 3-game winning streak before losing to Utah last time out, 131-129. We had Utah in that game. We had the Clippers in their last game against Portland. So maybe we know these teams pretty well. Look, Detroit, they should be much better than the Clippers right now, but the Clippers are starting to play up to their potential. I don't know, maybe they're not, maybe their potential isn't that good, but they're starting to play better like they're supposed to compared to the crappy team that they were so far this season. It's just the Clippers are 3-10 against the spread at home here so far. Pistons, for all their success, this is what I say and how I say it. I know a lot of people disagree with me. The Pistons are overrated. I mean, they're 24-7, yet just 17-14 ATS, 12-13 ATS is a favorite, even though they're 19-6. They're usually favored by too many points. That's how hot the public has been in on Detroit. Now, nobody's disagreeing that Detroit's been so incredible and that we might even think that this is kind of for real, right? It does feel like it. The Clippers here are 10-6 to the over as an underdog coming into this one, but 10 of the last 15 meetings between these two teams have gone under. The Clippers have gone under in 8 of their last 12, and Detroit's gone under in 4 of their last 6. Detroit's 5-10 against the spread in their last 15 games, despite all those wins. Detroit's covered 4 of the last 6 meetings between the two. Detroit's won 7 of their last 9 straight up. Clippers have dropped 13 of their last 18, but gone 5-2 ATS in their last 7 to show that they're kind of perking up here a little bit. But I think the Pistons get back to it. I think the Pistons win this one and cover. I'm actually going to take them to do it here on the road. You're probably going to see me more on the Clippers here. I think they're going to get it back just a little bit. But I'm going to go with the Pistons in this one. And I think the sharp side might be the Clippers. The Pistons might be the square side. And I'm talking up the Clippers. But I think the matchup still favors the Pistons just on the court is kind of what I feel like. Let's go to the chat here. Sportsfan likes the Clippers. Maybe it's time to start taking – I'm taking them serious. I am taking them serious. Yes, they crushed these guys, right, with those 3 wins. And, yeah, there's still plenty of time here, right, sports fan? There's still 52 games left this season. Andre says Clippers plus the points. Don't forget, Pistons are on the 4th game of this road trip right now. And really, they went home for 1 game against Charlotte. They played that. They've been tired. Timmy on the under here. Harden for his 3s. Greg says Detroit wins it at the buzzer. And right, Mr. Westford, somebody got to talk up these Clippers. My Clippers. I think I can still draw the old Clippers logo. The 3 sails. Sprinkle the money line, says Greg.
Major line.
Kawhi, yep, looking good. Look, although I will say, let me check the injury report here. Man, the Pistons, clean bill of health here. Bogdanovich, he's out with the hip injury. Cam Christie's questionable. Derek Jones is probable. Zubats is still out here. All right. Anything's possible. Okay, I guess that's it in that one. I'm going to take the Pistons, though. That might be square, but Okay, here we go. Last one, Kings and Lakers here. So Lakers have lost three in a row. They're the anti-Clippers all of a sudden. They look totally dysfunctional for some reason. Maybe just maybe it has to do with the uh, current lineup here right now with the few injuries here. Austin Reeves, maybe the glue on this team. He's out with a calf injury right now. Gabe Vincent remains out. Jackson Hayes is doubtful for Sacramento. Zach Levine questionable. Devin Carter questionable. Keegan Murray, he is out here. The Lakers do need a big win. No one wants to lay 12 points with the Lakers against anybody, but I don't know if I want Sacramento. So Lakers are still 11-1 to the over at home. Nobody wants to take the under with this Lakers team right now. They're not going to be able to necessarily stomp on the Kings here the way they're going, right? So I kind of want to take the Lakers and lay 12 points, but maybe I could just default to the over because we've been rolling with every over with the Lakers here in that run. Uh, Kings are 12-16 to the under as a dog, 7-9 to the under on the road. Lakers usually with these home overs, they've actually been a dog in some of them, but still, like I said, 11-1 to the over at home this season. Here we go in the chat. All right. And Mr. Wesker said the Lakers are due. Yeah, and look, they're coming back down to earth, I think here. But also Reeves is a key guy in there right now, and I think that's kind of keeping me off. My computer is saying my algorithm over here is saying this is the Lakers spot, but heck, I don't know if I want it. Mr. Wesker's on the Kings. Sports fan going under, uh, despite that incredible overrun. Kings plus 12 for Timmy. Mr. Wesker says the Kings will still get it done. After all, they still are. I mean, the Lakers will get it done. After all, they still are the Kings. Greg's got the Lakers by 17 here. I would probably lean more toward that. I think the losing streak might just pique the Lakers' interest here a little bit. And you got to look at the head to head, although the Kings do have a win already here in LA this season 117 to 116. The Lakers did come back and win at Sacktown 11 days later. 127 to 120. That was back in October. Hachimura there to hit his threes. All right. Well, okay. I'm going to take the over in this one. Man, I want to take the Lakers still. I'll find a way to get to the Lakers here, but give me the over in this one with this incredible Lakers run. I'm going to take 3 overs here tonight on the show and no unders for me. Wow. Okay, that's it for the pro basketball. Let's go to some college action here and take a look at the best games on the board. I'm going to look at, I think, 4 games here. 5. I've got 5 college games lined up on Sunday. A couple of them line up with the NBA, but with the NFL coverage, but that's okay. We'll take a peek at these and see what we got here for the action on Sunday. Because hey, we've got here some conference play here today in some of these games. So I'm going to start off though with this one from Conference USA with Liberty taking on Florida International. In this one, you've got Liberty favored on the road here by 4.5. They're 8-3 coming in, winners of 2 of their last 3. Florida International, meanwhile, has won 4 of their last 5 games coming in. They're 7-4 overall. They have recent wins and covers here over Long Island, Jacksonville, Florida Gulf Coast, and Nebraska Omaha. They did lose to Miami by 17, but they covered 21.5. They're on a cover streak here right now. Actually, are the Panthers. Meanwhile, here for Liberty, They covered their last game, a win at Dayton. That's not easy to do. They won by 3 as a 10.5 point favorite. Did lose to NC State uh, 2 games back by 85-45 margin. They did beat Coppin. FIU's a terrific 6-2 ATS this season. Meanwhile, Liberty just 1-3 against the spread on the road. This total at 145 has already dropped 7 points here, which is kind of interesting because Liberty's 4-1 to the over as a favorite. Florida International's 4-0 to the over as an underdog. So, like I said, this thing opened like 152, 152.5, and it's already gone down 7 points here. That's a big time move, and I'm not sure I trust it. We're in the situation with these two teams that are definitely in their element to go over here. So let's see what you have. Liberty just 1-3 ATS on the road. FIU 4-1 ATS at home, and they're getting these points here. Feels like a dog and over to me. But let's see if the chat has any play in this one. All right. Here's under for Timmy Tushu. FIU, I think, here for Mr. Weskers, but Andre likes Liberty. And Greg here, he likes it pretty much right on the spread. All right. Liberty's won 13 of their last 17 dating back to last season. Florida Nationals won 7 straight at home right now after losing their first home game of the season. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take the over here in this one with Liberty and Florida International. Give me the over in this one. All right, we'll go to the extra board here for a game between Harvard and Colgate. Harvard is coming in here 6-7, and you've got Colgate coming in here 6-6. It's always a good one when you got the Crimson and the Big Red going at it. Harvard comes in here right now off of a loss to St. John's, but they did cover 26.5. They also beat Holy Cross by 28 as a 10-point favorite. Colgate 7-3 against the spread so far this season, although they lost to the Gators last time out, 90-60 as a 27.5-point dog. They covered against Bonaventure before that, and before that they had wins over Albany, Fordham, and a non-Division I opponent, I believe. I spend too much time looking it up, but I want to know. St. John's Fisher. Oh, they also beat SUNY Oneonta back in there. All right. Well, so Colgate's picked on a couple of non-Division I teams in there, but hey, they've been getting the money here a little bit more frequently. But still, Harvard. I mean, I'd probably trust them more as a dog here. Colgate is 1-3 to the under as a favorite, and they've been going under here a little bit so far as well this season. Colgate's under in 5 of their 7 games so far. Harvard's 5-10 to the under in their last 15 games dating back to last season. Harvard does own the series. They've won 8 straight, including last year, 78-67 at home. Covering 1.5. So I got to take Harvard in this one, plus the points. This is really a Harvard series for sure. They've owned this series. Colgate's looked a little bit better here, of course, so far this season with the covering the spread. But I'm going to take Harvard here in this one. All right, Mr. Wesker is going to take Colgate. And Greg here, I think he likes Harvard in the over, and Andre likes the under, and I think I might be in with Andre in that one. All right, Santa Clara is going to take on Oregon State here in this one. And, we kind of been waiting, right, for the moment here with some of these matchups anyway. just to take a look, I mean, because this is for Oregon State right now, their first ever West Coast Conference game. So, welcome to the West Coast Conference, Oregon State, and get a taste of Santa Clara here. Santa Clara, a favorite on the road, minus 5.5 here, and the total 152 in this one. Got a Santa Clara team here. Uh, uh, Coming in here, yeah, they are favored, but they're 9-4 overall. Oregon State just 7-6, but Santa Clara's lost 3 of their last 4 games coming in, albeit to New Mexico, Arizona State, and Loyola of Illinois. They beat North Texas, but they didn't cover in that one either. They're having they're basically having trouble covering spreads, is what it comes down to right now. In fact, Santa Clara has failed to cover the spread here now in 5 straight games here overall. So that's got to be a little bit of a problem here against an Oregon State team, at least at home. Yeah, they're making their debut here in this conference, but they've covered 4 out of their last 5 overall. Here's the thing: Santa Clara played Arizona State and lost 79-82 as a 1.5 point favorite. Oregon State just beat Arizona State on the road 78-75 as a 12.5 point dog. So, can that factor into your handicap here a little bit? Oregon State also with wins over Montana State, covered at home against them. They covered at home against Southern Utah. They covered at home against Vermont. Now, they did lose at Sam Houston, or at home to Sam Houston in an upset, but Oregon State's 2-0 against the spread as an underdog so far this season. They're 3-8 against the spread at home, but they were favorites in most of those games. In fact, they're 1-8 as a home favorite so far. Not good. So getting the points just fine. Laying the points hasn't been so great. These 2 teams did meet already in this calendar year, and Oregon State got the win 83-69. It was back in January. Oregon State was a 2-point favorite in that one and got the money. They also met here, I say last year, right? This is actually I got it confused, you guys. Of course, this is the second year for Oregon State in this conference. I was thinking of Seattle. We're going to preview Seattle here. It's their first year in the West Coast Conference. Sorry for that confusion on my part. I was just thinking of it with Seattle's making their debut today. That's what it is. And also, of course, Oregon State's going back to the Pac-12. So I've got to get it straight. This year they're in the West Coast Conference, though. So let's keep it going here right now and see what you have in this one. I'm taking Oregon State over Santa Clara at home plus 5.5. All right, and let's see what you got here. And it's going to be Mr. Wesker's liking Santa Clara against the spread. And also, Andre says Santa Clara money line and over. All right, you guys are on Santa Clara here. Greg likes Oregon State, though, there, and he likes it over. All right, St. Mary's is taking on Loyola Marymount. We're in Gersten Pavilion in this one for it's more West Coast Conference action here with St. Mary's taking on Loyola Marymount. St. Mary's 11-2 coming in. They're doing those St. Mary's things once again. They just had wins over Northern Iowa and FAU. So far, they've failed to cover in 3 straight games. They also lost at Boise, and they've also lost at home to Vandy by 25 points. For LMU here, they are 7-5, back-to-back wins and covers over North Alabama and Morgan State. Before that, consecutive losses to Stonehill, St. Louis, and UCSD. St. Mary's is 0-2 to the under on the road here so far this season, but I don't know if I'm too worried about that. I would think that this one could be a high-scoring game, actually, between these two. The last meeting, however, was an under, just 58 to 55 when the teams met here last February in a conference game. Although the first meeting went over when it was at St. Mary's, 81 to 56. But at 138, last year the game that went under here was 135. St. Mary's was a 12 and a half point favorite in that game. Let's see what you have. I'd like to look back at those previous meetings in the same setting, and maybe these teams are kind of still the same right now. But St. Mary's has covered just one of their last 5 games overall. They've gone under in 5 of their last 7. St. Mary's is just 1-4 against the spread their last 5 against the Lions. 7 of the last 8 meetings between the two teams have gone over, despite that trend that I just read off. Also, Loyola Marymount is just 1-18 at home against St. Mary's in the last 19 games between these two at Gersten Pavilion. And that is a sample size of not quite 20 years, not even 9. They did play a couple of conference tournament games, I believe, here over a decade ago. I remember them. So I'm going over here in this one with St. Mary's and LMU. Give me the over here in this one. And we've got here Mr. Wesker's liking LMU. St. Mary's money line and under for Andre. And Greg says he's got it 75-68 St. Mary's there, kind of right on this. He's got an under. He's got an over. Greg's got an over for sure. All right, one more here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so Seattle. I'm sorry, you guys. Seattle is making their debut in the West Coast Conference after they were in the Big West last season. Seattle, though, is looking great so far, 11-2. Seattle's had some good teams. This one looks as good as any. The funny thing is they are hugely overrated so far this season. What do you mean? Well, Seattle's 11-2 straight up. They're 4-7 against the spread, 2-7 against the spread as a favorite, but they're only laying 2 points here. San Francisco's 3-1 against the spread as a road underdog so far this season. So kind of interesting here. Seattle's won 6 in a row, 5 in a row at home. They've gone just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5. The Dons have covered 4 of their last 5 coming in. Seattle's gone under in 12 of their last 18, dating back to last season, although they are 6-3 to the over as a favorite here so far. San Francisco also 5-1 against the spread on the road or away from home so far this season. I'm including a couple of tournament games in there as well. So what do you think here? Crazy, right? Seattle 11-2, but 4-7 against the spread, only laying 2 to San Francisco in their conference debut here against a West Coast Conference stalwart in San Francisco, a team that, yes, they're always up against Gonzaga, but they've been a quality team in this conference for years. What do you think? Do you think that San Francisco welcomes them to the league with a win, or does Seattle keep it going? Here is Mr. Weskers likes Seattle. Andre says, I'm going to parlay San Francisco with the 49ers. And Andre says, sprinkle that money line. I'm with Andre. I'm going to take the Red Wolves here. Take Seattle in this one, -2 against the Dons. All right, that's going to do it for the college basketball. There's a couple other. Gonzaga is playing as well here on. They're playing Pepperdine, favored by 28. So, all right, let's get to the next one here. Go to the NHL, where I've got a 5-game card to look at, and then we'll be out of here. Thanks for joining me here on Night Moves. All right. First off, we've got the Canadians taking on the Lightning here in this one. The Habs are an underdog here. Lightning $1.50 or so. Total 6/20. Might be some 6.5 shaded to the under out here in this one. Montreal, hey, it's not a bad spot for them here necessarily as an underdog against Tampa. Both teams with similar records. Montreal's won 3 of 4, but Tampa's won 3 straight. Montreal 20, 12, and 5. Tampa Bay, meanwhile, 21, 13, and 3. Tampa Bay with wins over Carolina, St. Louis, and Florida. They're on the back to back, but they are at home. Last night's game was a 4-2 win at Florida. Montreal, meanwhile, has had extended time off. They did not play last night, so they've actually had 5 days off here coming in. They've been playing pretty well with wins over Chicago, Pittsburgh, and Boston, although they lost a second of a back-to-back against Pittsburgh. Montreal, one of the best road teams in the league. Uh-oh, do I have the wrong graphic up there, gang? Oh, sorry about that. Man. Okay, I seem to have... let me just, I'll have to make the graphic here real quick. Something has happened here. There we go. I got it now. There it is. I just had the last, I think the layoff there kind of screwed me up. Okay, there we go. Fowler in here has been terrific so far in net. Make no mistake. Fowler's been sharp. They haven't played, so that's what screwed me up. They haven't played here since before the break right now, and they're 10-3 on the road so far. One of the best road teams in the league are the Canadians so far this season. Meanwhile, for the Lightning here, good record. You got my man Jonas Johansson in here in this one. And look, for Johansson, if anything, the numbers have been a little bit better than expected right now. Some talk that it could be Vasilevsky in here, but I think it's going to be Johansson on the back-to-back. For the Canadians here and Fowler, look, he's been pretty good so far. The Canadians, I'm pretty much making him their number one right now, and he is confirmed here in the goal. 2.39 goals against, a record of 3-1-1 coming in, 91.5% save percentage. So see what you got here in this one with the Canadians taking on the Lightning here on Sunday. This one's at 5:07 Eastern, 2:07 Pacific time. Let's see what you've got in the chat here in this one. Looks like Andre is on the Lightning there. Also, Greg likes Tampa in this one, 4-2. I think that's it from you guys. I like Montreal here. I'm taking the Canadians on the road in this one. Tampa did win the first meeting here just about 3 weeks ago. It was 6-1. They won at Montreal. So big time revenge here for the Canadians. And I'm going to take them to win at Tampa Bay. Canadians with 5 days off. Tampa Bay played last night. I'm going to take the Canadians. All right, we got the Isles taking on the Jackets here. Islanders 21, 13, and 4. Rittich is, I believe, already confirmed here in goal in this one. Likely to start. 9-3-2 record. 2.25 goals against. A 92% save percentage here. You got the Islanders, another strong road team, 9-6 on the road this season. But look, Columbus is 8-1 as a favorite so far this season. Just 7-6 at home, believe it or not. So a lot of times it's when they've been a road favorite, that's been the role that you want to take Columbus. But still, nonetheless, pretty strong here right now as a favorite. It's just that they've really been kind of a money burner for the most part at home because of the fact that they've lost some games, as a dog here at home. So they're favored in this one, make no mistake, against the Islanders. Islanders a profitable team on the road here for sure, but the team's already met this season back on November 2nd, the Islanders won it 3-2 at home. I think the Jackets return the favor on them here, despite the fact Columbus, they come in here
Major
with
line move.
extended time off. They also did not play yesterday. Got to make sure that they also did not play yesterday. So Chet Greaves in here in goal. I believe they're on a back-to-back. And did they say? I think they said actually that Greaves maybe just because of the situation right now with Columbus, that Greaves may be forced to play back-to-back tomorrow. Is that what they? No, I got it. It's Rittich. Rittich here. They played yesterday. Rittich was in goal in that game against the Rangers. The Islanders won it 2-0. They're the team on the back-to-back here, but Rittich is expected to play in goal in tonight's games as well. He's already listed as likely. He got the shutout last night. So there will be some fatigue here, I would think. I got to take the Blue Jackets in this one. Okay, here we go with Timothy Hawks on the Blue Jackets. Andres on the Blue Jackets as well. Mr. Wesker's also on the Blue Jackets. Everybody's on the Blue Jackets. Horvat for a goal. And I think Greg says it'll be a regulation draw. All right, I'm taking the Blue Jackets here. Like I said, 8-1 is a favorite so far this season for basically a 500 team in the Blue Jackets. They're not even that. I mean, they have 6 overtime losses here. So, okay, here we go. The Leafs are on the road taking on the Red Wings. And Red Wings are favored, $1.40 here in this one. Total is 6.5 under at -115. And the Red Wings come in 22-14-3 following the loss last night at Carolina, 5-2. Toronto, meanwhile, won a wild one against Ottawa at home, 7-5. They also beat Pittsburgh before the break, combining to win 13-8 in the last 2 games here. Detroit 12-7 at home so far. Toronto just 5-10 on the road so far this season. I got to think this one kind of shapes up for the home team once again, but let's see how you have it here in this one with the Maple Leafs taking on the Red Wings here in this one. Also, Toronto 5-9 as an underdog so far this season. Toronto comes in here right now with a little bit of a struggle here of late before the 2 wins. They were on a bit of a losing streak. They've actually lost 12 of their last 18 on the road. They've beaten Detroit in 13 of the last 20 and 12 of the last 17 here in Detroit. Detroit's won 8 of their last 11 overall. They're 4-1 straight up last 5 games at home. I'm going to take the Red Wings in this one at $1.40. Give me Detroit. All right, and let's see what we got here in this one. We've got, hey, I want to say hello to Hector Numba. He made it. He's on Detroit. Mr. Wesker's Detroit. Timothy Hawk is on Detroit. And Timmy says, under? Really? Andre said, both teams played yesterday. Go under. They'll have tired legs. I have tired legs, and all I've been doing is sitting on my butt. All right, let's keep it moving here right now. A couple more and the show's over. Penguins and the Blackhawks here. Penguins 15-12-9 coming into this one. Chicago 14-17-6. Both teams have been struggling here of late. Chicago got that win, though, yesterday. They're over Dallas in the shootout. We saw Chicago pull that win on the road to snap their losing streak by beating the Stars, and now they got to go quickly here and play the Penguins, and they're an underdog at home. Pittsburgh, meanwhile, they've not been playing very well. They lost to Toronto 6-3. They did beat Montreal before that, but that was a struggle at home. they were in revenge for a 4-0 loss to Montreal, but they still got it done. They also lost to Ottawa, to Edmonton here recently. Pittsburgh is 8-6 on the road this season, however, and Chicago 7-7 at home so far this season. Both teams are pretty solid under teams for sure. You got Chicago here 6-11 to the under at home. Pittsburgh, they've been going under here of late as well. For Pittsburgh, they went under in well, no, 2 of their last 4 actually, because they gave up so many goals yesterday. I was thinking of those back-to-back shutout losses against Ottawa and Montreal. They lost both those games 4-0. Chicago snapped a 6-game losing streak when they won that game last night. Pittsburgh's lost 19 of the last 14 games overall, or I'm sorry, Pittsburgh's lost 14 of the last 19 games to Chicago overall. Chicago's just 2-6 in their last 8 games at home. 4 of the last 5 meetings between the two teams have gone under here. So let's see what you got. Not a great game here, but see what you got. In fact, I think Skinner's. I'm starting to see some Skinner action here on some of the sites. I thought it was. No, I think it's going to be Silovs. 3 of the sites say Silovs. 2 of them say Skinner. I'm gonna stay with Silovs here. I think it's going to be Knight as well here. So Pittsburgh now, they are one of the teams that had the rest here though coming in. They've had 5 days off, and Chicago, of course, had the overtime and the shootout game last night. These two teams have not met yet this season. So let's see what you got though. This one feels tough to me. Here we go with Timothy Hawk is on Pittsburgh. And Andre's on Chicago here. Now, Pittsburgh was off last night. They have the rest. Let's see here. Under for Andre. Greg says 3-2 Pittsburgh. All right. I got to go under in this one with Pittsburgh and Chicago. And one more on Sunday night. Thank you for joining me here on Night Moves. It's going to be the Flyers taking on the Kraken here. So Flyers here hitting the road off of the holiday break. Of course, they didn't play last night, so they head out way out west. They come in here with wins over Vancouver and Chicago. Seattle's on a 3-game winning streak with wins over San Jose, Anaheim, and LA all on the road. They also did not play on Saturday, so they've had time off. Philadelphia coming in here 9-2 as a favorite so far this season. Seattle 12-18 as an underdog. Seattle's 5-12 to the under at home here so far this season. Look at kind of where these two teams are headed in this one trend-wise as well. And you can see here, you got a Philadelphia team that has lost 5 of their last 7 games against Seattle overall. Now, you might not pay attention to the days of the week stats. I usually don't as well, but just note that not only is Philadelphia 0-10 on Sundays, but you are having the travel spot here, the first game back off of the break here right now. So there's a lot of, I think the Sharps are going to be on Philadelphia here, but I'm not necessarily sure I want them in this spot. And I'm going to take Seattle here to win at home in this one. Philadelphia may have trouble scoring, I think, here against Seattle tonight. Total is 5.5 after all, and Seattle's so solid to the under at home. Give me Seattle in this one. Flyers for Andre. Timothy's on the Flyers. All right, and that's going to do it for Night Moves. Hey, everyone, head on over to Tony'sPicks.com and check out our premium picks here for Sunday every day. Check me out over at Tony'sPicks.com. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout. That'll save you 15% off all of our premium pick packages. Check out the handicapper leaderboards and see who's hot. Who was hot on Saturday? DeAndre, 2-1. My partner here on Night Moves. He had a couple of winners there. Mr. Higgs had his only winner on Saturday as well. You got Solo up there with a winning day. Jorge was in the profit zone as well over the last 7 days off the site. You got Al Ninos up there. Great percentage for Al, 10-3. Solo's looking good. Chris Atkins on top as well. Our friend from Tennessee in there, DeAndre's holding the fort above par as well. So check us out over at Tony'sPicks.com. Click on the All Cappers tab. You can find the handicapper of your choice. Click on their handicapper profile page, and that's how you get signed up. Let's take a peek and see what Andre had on Saturday in the games there. He had Virginia plus the points. He had the under in Penn State and Clemson. Great picks from DeAndre. Click on the upcoming tab. That's how you'll find the latest picks. If you're in a hurry, want to grab that pick, click on the upcoming tab. You'll see the latest picks up there from everybody, and you can get on board with our picks over at Tony'sPicks.com. You know, you see me on a lot of channels and a lot of shows, but just know that my absolute best picks every day are right here at Tony'sPicks.com. Use the promo code TonyT at checkout to save 15% off all premium pick packages. Thanks to everyone in the chat. Thank you for all the birthday greetings as well. I don't know if I should say how many years I've been going here right now, but I know it kind of. Let me see here. I had a steak here for dinner. I might have had. What is this number right here on this bottle of ketchup? 5-7. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right. Thanks for joining me, everybody. We'll see you here tomorrow. Make sure you join me. We'll talk Monday Night Football. We'll talk a little college basketball, of course. We're getting back in full swing here on Monday as well. Some NBA action. So it should be just a great week on to get going for some sports betting action here this week as we get ready, of course, heading into next week in the big playoff games as well. Can't wait for that. There's also a bowl game on Monday, so get ready for the Birmingham Bowl. Thank you to Mr. Weskers and Timmy Two Shoes and Sports Fan. Thank you guys so much for supporting me here on the Tony's Picks YouTube channel, the 50,000 subscriber juggernaut. And for Tony'sPicks.com, I'm Ramon Scott. So long for Night Moves.